event will still be led by citizens, even though only invited delegates will be attending. The convention, where the agenda for the national dialogue will be set, starts on Friday and ends on Saturday. This is despite legacy foundations boycotting this weekend's event, flagging the rush to host it so soon. 1,000 delegates will be brought into the UNISA main campus this weekend for the gathering. Khomotso Modisa reports.
The legacy foundations who've pulled out from this weekend's national convention had raised concerns that the rush to host the event this week would compromise the nature of the event being citizen-led. This weekend, only 1,000 representatives from different sectors of society will gather at UNISA's ZK Matthews Hall in Pretoria. But the convention's organizers insist this event will still be citizen-led. Spokesperson Zo Nebutalu.
Faith-based is an example. Women, youth, people who work with children organizations, political parties will also be represented.
Nebutalu says 8 million rand has been budgeted for this weekend's event to cover travelling, hotel and catering costs for the delegates. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
Meanwhile, DA leader John Steenhuisen says the withdrawal of the legacy foundations from the National Dialogue's preparation task team proves that the party's assertion that the initiative was poorly planned. The DA is one of several organizations that have declined to participate in the National Dialogue, describing it as little more than an ANC talk shop. Speaking at a media briefing yesterday, Steenhuisen said President Cyril Ramaphosa should consider scrapping the dialogue altogether.
Is that our citizens are sick to their back teeth with plans, with talk shops, with symposiums, with colloquia, endlessly diagnosing the problems in South Africa, pushing us further and further into the quagmire of analysis paralysis.
He says the dialogue will merely reiterate what has already been publicly ventilated.
We know what the problems are in South Africa. The problems are an economy that's not growing. The problems are unemployment. The problems are inequality, both spatial and economic, that still exists in our country. And the problem is too much talk and not enough action.
The Nuclear Energy Corporation says a new nuclear power station in the Western Cape is what's needed to strengthen the country's energy security. It's welcomed the environmental approval for a 4,000 megawatt station following an appeal against the original decision in 2017. But there's still several hoops for Eskom to jump through before the project can proceed. Lindsay Dentlinker has more.
On Friday, Environment Minister Dion George gave the go-ahead for another nuclear facility at the Danafontein site on the outskirts of Cape Town, where the Koeberg nuclear power station is located. But Eskom will still have to obtain a nuclear installation license from the National Nuclear Regulator and approval from the National Energy Regulator before proceeding to apply for water licenses and other requirements from the Mineral and Petroleum Resources Department. NECSA CEO Loyiso Chabashe says the environmental approval marks an important milestone for the nuclear industry and the journey towards a balanced energy mix that enables socio-economic development and is climate friendly. NECSA says it will continue to work with the Department of Electricity and Energy as well as Eskom to contribute technical expertise to maximize the benefits of nuclear energy. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And US President Donald Trump has ordered a delay to reimpose higher tariffs on Chinese goods. Trump made the announcement hours before a trade truce between Washington and Beijing was due to expire. The White House's halt of steeper tariffs will now be in place until early November this year. While the US and China slept escalating tariffs on each other's products this year, both countries agreed to temporarily lower them in May. As part of that truce, fresh US tariffs targeting China were reduced to 30%, and the corresponding level from China was cut to 10%. President Donald Trump spoke to reporters ahead of the deadline.
We've been dealing very nicely with China, as you probably have heard. They have tremendous tariffs that they're paying to the United States of America. And we'll see what happens. They've been dealing quite nicely. The relationship is very good with President Xi and myself.
Gold is trading at $3,350.43 an ounce. The rand is at 17.73 to the dollar, 23.82 to the pound, 20.61 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $66.85 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got roadworks taking place in Limbo Park on the N3 South. The delays are between Marlborough Drive and Vincent Chabalala Street. While traveling in Kempton Park, more roadworks are taking place along the R21 South approaching Pomona Road. Please be on the lookout.
And in your sport, Rassie Erasmus names an experienced yet experimental Springbok squad for the Rugby Championship opener against Australia. First win at Chan for South Africa. And Crystal Palace knocked down to the Conference League confirmed by CAS.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg starting at 7 degrees, peaking at 21. Pretoria 9 and 22. Vereeniging 5 and 22 as well. The top story in EWN this hour. The organizers of the upcoming National Convention say this weekend's event will still be led by citizens, even though only invited delegates will be attending.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 6 o'clock, it's Tuesday, the 12th of August. The year of our Lord, 2025. Welcome to the show. Welcome one, welcome all, wherever you are listening to us from. A shout out to you if you're in Centurion, if you're in Cullinan, if you are in Rankuwa, in Hammanskraal, in Irene. Are you in Mamelodi? Are you in Mabopane? Soshas. Eplok DD. There by the reservoir.
Didn't you live there?
I did.
At some point.
The reservoir is sort of on the hill, and as the road comes down, there's a little patches on the right. But if you come down from that reservoir, on the left, Kama PP, and that's closer to Mabopane Station, which, when I lived there, was a hive of activity. Are you in Winterveld? Are you in Zitobin? Shout out to you wherever you are around the world. We've had listeners from Toronto, from Berlin, from the Philippines. Joel in Kempton Park is in Lusaka, or is he back? Welcome to the show.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
You've already heard the voice of Muteo Khwaripe there in the background. Good morning, Muteo.
Morning, Bongs.
Are you well this morning?
Fair. I often think about the answer for that because I don't like to say to people I'm good when I'm not.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't just say, yeah, young chap, yeah, I'm okay. No, I always think about it.
And then when you're not good, when you're not well,
I
you
say,
express it, and then
yeah,
you
I
expect
do
them to engage with it.
If they want to. Some people...
Have you ever said, nah, and somebody just moved on like
yeah,
you said
because
nothing?
they were not interested. It was just a greeting. I was
Spicy.
passing.
Spicy. At 9 minutes past 6. Amo, you thought I was the problem. You thought I was the drama. Good morning, Amo.
Good morning, Bongs. Morning, 702 lenders. But you are the drama.
Here's
you
a
take the trophy.
Here's a question for you too. Your significant other, someone very close to you, a best friend, your spouse even, misbehaves in public, right? Maybe you're at a restaurant and the waiter or waitress has made a mistake, genuine mistake, but their irritation levels are off the charts. And this is the day they fight. And you think they've gone overboard. Do you wait for a private moment to say, and then? Or do you say, honey, babe, no, babe. Do you say it in front? Because now you're escalating the situation, and now this person will lose face in front of the person they thought they had a right to mistreat. What do you do? Muteo?
I would risk it, and I know it's a big risk to do it in front of everyone else because sometimes you don't want a situation like that getting out of hand. So stopping it right there and there is far better than having to wait, because what if they escalate it further?
What if it escalates to you?
I can handle that, me.
You're not on my side. Huh? Oh, you're taking her side.
That's the risk.
Are you taking her side?
Yes, I am.
Amo?
Yeah, I've been called out so many times. I've been called to order. And sometimes it's not even how like my husband would say it directly. I can see his face
Yeah.
that actually
I don't mind the look.
out of hand.
I don't mind the
and
look.
then so many times, and I just feel so humbled.
So you're a fighter.
I mean, no, but when I can be a bit dramatic. A little bit.
I don't mind the look.
Yeah.
If you give me I'm usually able to bring myself back towards myself. If you confront me directly, and now I'm feeling shame, right? Ooh, I don't know where it's gonna go. Between us now, never mind that other person. But if you give me that look, I'm able to okay, sorry, and pick it up. What do? Let us know on 072-702-1702. It's a really nice entryway into what we're doing this morning on the show.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, as you've heard, I'm not alone. Amoramila is here with us on traffic. KG will be starting the clock, controlling all the fancy gizmos behind the desk. Muteo Hwaripe is here with business news. We've got producers Siamtanda and Bapelile taking your calls and moderating your voice notes. And Anthony Teixeira will be here to bring us everything you need to know in sport. And Sfiso Zulu has the latest in eyewitness news. How's everyone feeling? You're feeling good? Wherever you are, ready to go? Let's do this. Can't wait to hear from everyone around 702 land.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
So on our menu, we start with Athol Trollip, who's a member of the National Assembly for ActionSA. This as that party is now reconsidering its role, perhaps even its participation in the national dialogue. We've got this big convention planned for this weekend, and already, as you heard in Eyewitness News, some fees are being bandied about in terms of what it will cost for the delegates who will be attending, said to be representing a wide spectrum of society and really trying to air out the feelings of ordinary folk. Whether you believe that or not, we will see as the day unfolds and as we get your responses. But ActionSA now thinking really long and hard about whether this is worth getting involved in. And then we've got a specialist in immigration law, Ashraf Essop, joining us after 7 o'clock. We'll also speak to Professor Loren Landau, Professor of Migration and Development at the Oxford University and Research Professor at Wits, their Center for Migration and Society. I'm asking the question this morning. I have called Operation Dudula the vigilantes that they are. Now, the classic definition of a vigilante is somebody who'll take the law into their own hands. But it doesn't necessarily mean that their motivations are unjustified. Yes, it's me, Bongani Bingwa, saying, what if Operation Dudula, in fact, has a point? In South Africa, under our laws, foreign nationals are largely entitled to the same health benefits as you and I as citizens. They don't have to pay to get treatment for HIV. They don't have to pay to get treatment for tuberculosis. And here's the kicker. You and I, if we go to a public hospital and we're earning and we're employed, we have to pay. There's a means test. You have to show where you work, how much you earn, what you can afford, and they determine what it is you must pay. It's not just for free. If there's something you can pay. Many of these foreign nationals don't get asked the same questions. Why, you ask? Well, for example, if you are somebody with an asylum permit, if you've got refugee status in South Africa, or you even have a temporary resident permit, or even if you're an undocumented migrant from the SADC region, if you're from next door, from Moz, from Botswana, Bob's your uncle. We've had experts on the show who have said, look, foreign nationals represent about 3% of the residents of South Africa. How can you then blame the pressure on the healthcare system on 3% of the people that may access it? Except anecdotally, people will tell you what the picture is at many of these hospitals and clinics around the country. Not only patients, but doctors themselves. What compounds it is, in some cases, these doctors have no clue what is wrong with the patient in front of them because they don't even speak English or Zulu, right? And so now the doctor is trying to figure out what is wrong. They're trying to take a history. There's no translator. And so a consultation perhaps that might have taken 30 minutes with KG from Soweto is now going to take 2 hours because we're trying to figure out what on earth is wrong. And we have to run additional tests because we don't know, this person can't tell us what is wrong with them. So Operation Dudula says no more of this. No more of this. They're pulling people out of wards, out of maternity wards. They're preventing lactating mothers from getting vaccines for their young babies. They're demanding IDs in the hospitals. And often the police look away, hey? And there are even allegations that the nurses help them. So you got to ask yourself the question. Because the rage of Operation Dudula is focused on the foreign nationals, is it convenient for government to look the other way? Do you think they're secretly winking at Dudula? Bakipeni, take them out. Hey? They'll never say that. But how is it that people can be dragged out of these facilities and the cops are there and nobody does anything about it? Yeah, every now and again a few people get arrested. And this thing is spreading. It's not just Gauteng. We've seen, if not Operation Dudula, similar tactics by aligned organizations, shall we call them that, in KZN. My worry is, what happens the next time an organization decides to take the law into their own hands because they're dissatisfied about something? And when does this thing explode fully into xenophobia? How soon before we are dragging people out of buildings and demanding their IDs, dragging kids out of schools and demanding their birth certificates? Your child didn't get placed because so many foreign nationals were placed in that school. How soon before this thing explodes?
Good morning, Bongs and the team. This is Tim Maloney here in Centurion. You know, Bongs, I think Julius Malema once said this, that I think it was during the xenophobic attacks or something, that first it will be chasing away the people from Kenya and Zimbabwe. Next, it will be chasing away the Xhosas from Gauteng. Why are you here? Go back to the Eastern Cape. So, yeah, it's a very slippery slope.
Slippery slope indeed. Your views, 072 702 1702. We'll take your voice notes on WhatsApp in that way. You can also call us directly on 011 883 0702.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Mateo, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know from you and other 702 landers, Bongs, when it comes to shopping online, are you a good complainer still? Because when you're in the retail store, brick and mortar, you call management right now. But if something goes wrong with your delivery, do you still have the same energy to say, I'm going to call them, I'm going to follow up?
I ordered this veggie peeler contraption.
Yeah.
And there's a thing that you've got to connect it to, and it just doesn't click and hold. And so it's meant to do all sorts of fancy veggies and cube and slice and dice. The effort that would be involved in me sending... No.
Are you just going to get another one?
I know. No. I'll just stick to my...
Are you going to use it?
Stick to my potato peeler or find my old twister.
Go back to old ways.
From Verimark.
Turn the thing back, man. I would turn it back.
So you still complain online?
I do still complain. I remember I ordered my son's Superman suit and it was too big for him at that time. So I sent it back, but I didn't win because they sent it back. They said, no, the packaging in which it was returned is not the way in which it came to you. So we can't keep it.
And that's
so
what
I
you
said,
gave up.
uzokula nayo. Yeah.
See, I'm 50 years old. At that point,
You don't have the time.
No. I've got 20 years maybe if I'm lucky left. I'm not going to waste it fighting with online retailers.
I'll tell you why I'm asking.
702.
Weather.
21 after 6, a partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Temperature highs are 22 for Pretoria and Vereeniging, 21 for Joburg, 20 for Gqeberha, 17 for Cape Town. It's 24 for East London and 25 for Durban.
EWN Traffic.
All right, a quick traffic update with Amoramila. What are you seeing at this hour on your fancy maps?
Well, we've got delays, Bongani, already on the N3 North. This is between the Kirudi's interchange and Modderfontein Road. This is due to peak time delays. The same goes for you if you are traveling on the M1 North between Boyson's Road and Carr Street. Please be on the lookout there and drive with care and be patient on the roads. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Quantum science has the potential to shape South Africa's next wave of innovation and global competitiveness. So tomorrow, 702 Drive with John Perlman will be in conversation with Wits University Professor Andrew Forbes to unpack the country's quantum strategy and what it means for our future. We'll explore the breakthroughs in quantum computing, imaging, and photonics happening at Wits. Don't miss 702 Drive with John Perlman tomorrow in conversation with Wits University, shining a light on quantum futures. Wits for good. On 702.
FlySafe's Business Booster is back to help elevate and celebrate small local businesses. Enter now at flysafe.co.za. Tell us about your business, and you could be one of 6 standout enterprises to win 10 return business class flights plus brand exposure across FlySafe's various platforms. Whether you're making, creating, or innovating, we're here to help your business not just take off, but skyrocket. FlySafe, for the love of flying. T's and C's apply.
Imagine if you could save time like you save money. A second here, a minute there. Type a little faster, walk a little faster. Or you could stop scrolling on the internet. Just think of all the hours you'll save. Now what if you could take all that time and invest it? Watch it grow. Until eventually, one day, you'd have so much time that you wouldn't know what to do with it all. But unfortunately, time doesn't work like that. It can't be stored or banked. And unlike money, you can't make it back. That's why after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time to do whatever you want to do, even if it is scrolling on the internet. Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
We spend a lot of time looking for deals, but we don't invest the same time in our health. Your health buys you more time with the people you love. So who are you staying healthy for, and how can you improve your health? Choose Dis-Chem Life, the life cover that rewards you for living healthier with lower premiums and more cover. Visit dischemlife.co.za now. Dis-Chem Life. Choose a better partner for life. Dis-Chem Life is an authorized FSP 50594, underwritten by Guard Risk Life, a licensed life insurer, FSP 76. T's and C's apply.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Every business begins with heart, but it thrives with the support of its community. In this year's Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko, we set out to honor the local legends sharing our province, one dream, one service, one customer at a time. So we asked you to nominate your favorite local business, and you showed up. Now the spotlight shifts to the finalists, the entrepreneurs whose names rose from your nominations. The entrepreneurs you will need to vote for to secure their spot as Gauteng's greatest. And in the category, Greatest Brunch Spot, we've got Edladlin, 5646, Grumpy's Cafe, Mkuku Munchies, Pasture and Plate, and Service Station. Making it onto Gauteng's greatest brunch list takes more than a perfect flat white. You need smooth service, real-time insight, and smart tools that keep up with the rush. Yoko Kanta helps you through sales, stay on top of stock, and keep your staff in sync, all in one system, straight out of the box. It's the smartest till you will ever own. Ready to upgrade your business? Head to yoko.com. These are the businesses you believed in. These are your finalists. Voting opens at 6 a.m. on primemediaplus.com, and it's your chance to help crown the best of the best. Keep listening to 702 throughout the day as we reveal more names in the running for Gauteng's greatest with 702, powered by Yoko.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Things you need to know at this hour. The Department of Trade, Industry and Competition and the Department of Agriculture will jointly brief the media on the outcomes of cabinet decisions regarding South Africa's response to those unilateral tariffs imposed by the US. City Power has unleashed a stern warning signaling the start of meter normalization procedures. So customers who dare to defy the rules by refusing meter audits or tampering with energy meters will face a wrath of hefty fines and disconnections, and it could be over 30,000 rand. In a dramatic move that's already stirring controversy, former President Donald Trump has invoked a public safety emergency in Washington, D.C., this is the American capital, ordering 800 National Guard troops into the capital and assuming control over the city's police force. Nepal is making a bold move to boost tourism in remote western regions, offering free climbing permits for 97 Himalayan peaks in the Karnali province, and this is an initiative that aims to attract adventure seekers. One of the things I'd love to know, which tourist destination have you been to that was completely underwhelming? You thought you wanted to go to the Statue of Liberty. You wanted to go to the Eiffel Tower. You wanted to go to the pyramids. You know, the ones in Egypt. And you just thought, yole. Is this it? I stood at the Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil. And you know, in the movies, it looks so big and they pan and they've got all these images, these aerial. Nah, babes. Firstly, there's 1,000 other people trying for that special photo. So you've got to angle it in such a way that you can avoid as many as you can. And everybody starts fighting because you're in their angle or you're in their shot. And it's just, yeah, that was for me. Which one was for you? And in 1978, on this day, the Commodores' timeless classic, 3 Times a Lady, reached the top of the Billboard charts. Number 1.
You've given me the memories are all in my mind, and now that we've come to the end of our rainbow, there's something I must say out loud. You once, twice, 3 times a lady, and I love you. Yes, you once, twice.
702.
The newsmakers.
3 times as Fiso. Doesn't work, does it?
No.
What's in the papers?
Good morning, Bongani. Quite a shocking story in the Sowetan this morning about how a family in the Northwest has been let down by the courts after a man who confessed to killing their daughter was released from prison just under a year of being convicted and slept with a life sentence. And the more shocking thing for me is how the family find out about this whole situation.
Wait. So he killed their daughter.
He killed and confessed to the murder, right?
Gets a life sentence.
Gets a life sentence, but just under a year gets released, right? And I'll tell you why he got released.
Yeah.
I want to get into how the family found out. The father of the victim was going about his day, walking in town, and he came across, bumped into this man. That's supposed to be behind bars. And the father wonders, how is this person out and free? And he makes calls, and he gets told that, oh no, he did appeal his conviction and sentencing because the court made an error. The court was supposed to appoint assessors during the trial, but it failed to do that. And as a result, the lawyer of this man appealed the conviction in the sentencing, and he was released. But the family was not informed about his release. It was not informed about the successful appeal. And here's the father going about his day, and he sees his daughter's killer walking free because the courts made an error.
And then we complain about vigilantes, hey? That's the front page of the Sowetan. Thank you, Sfiso. Business Day front page. Banks to tell top court of damage. This is SA's major banks, First Rand and Standard Bank, going to the Constitutional Court to talk about the financial and reputational costs they have incurred over the Competition Commission's allegations that they had formed part of a banking cartel to manipulate the rand. You may remember my conversation with Sim Chabalala on that some time ago. The DA's assault on Triple BEE, says the front page of The Citizen, and it's got a picture of DA leader John Steenhuisen.
EWN Business.
When it comes to online purchases, are you a good complainer? Mateo wants to know. Do you follow up on late deliveries, wait until they eventually show up? Do you return products that aren't satisfactory and demand money back? What prompts the question?
Bongani, South Africa's Consumer and Services Ombud says all the complaints made by customers last year, online transactions topped the list. The Ombud says over the past financial year, it responded to 41,855 emails, telephone calls, as well as WhatsApp queries. The Consumer Goods and Services Ombud managed to get 11.9 million rand back into consumer pockets after resolving their complaints during the past financial year. Now, online transactions once again topped the list of the top 10 complaints by sector, accounting for about 30% of the 7,486 complaints in the 10 sectors with the most complaints. Now, the Consumer Goods and Services Ombud says online transactions are almost twice as likely to be complained about compared to other sectors, with electrical appliances and telecommunications and satellite services creating the most headaches for consumers. So do complain. There are measures to deal with these things and get your money back.
Do we complain about the rand today?
No, we don't, as we haven't as much of this year. It's 17 Rand 74, still quite strong against the US dollar, at 20 Rand 60 cents against the euro, and at 23 Rand 82 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $3,351 an ounce, or platinum is at $1,333. Brent crude now at $66.86 a barrel. More business after 7.
Hamba BEE, says the DA. Sfiso Zulu, is that right?
That's right, Bongani. But despite employment statistics indicating a rise in the black middle class in the last 30 years, the DA argues that transformation policies should be abolished. The party says this legislation, including the Employment Equity Amendment Act, has had minimal impact on reducing unemployment in the country. While the Employment Equity Amendment Act aims to promote inclusivity in the workplace, the DA maintains that race should never be a decision factor, or deciding factor at least. Speaking at a media briefing yesterday, DA leader John Steenhuisen expressed disagreements with the effectiveness of these laws.
And the first order of business in this plan is to target 3 major roadblocks that we see, which are holding our economy back and preventing economic growth, inward investment, and the ability of entrepreneurs and others to succeed in a country like South Africa. These 3 roadblocks are BBBEE, Employment Equity, and the Expropriation Act.
The National Union of Mine Workers has denied reports that it has dumped the ANC ahead of next year's crucial municipal elections. This comes as the tripartite alliance faces growing tensions and further tests on its unity after the SACP reiterated plans to contest the elections, putting it at odds with the ANC. Nobukayam Dambo takes a look.
The National Union of Mine Workers, an affiliate of COSATU, has historically backed the ANC and lobbied for votes for the party at elections. The decision by the SACP to go at the local government elections means COSATU affiliates will have to make a tough call on whether to back the ANC or the SACP at the polls. In a statement last night, the NUM's newly elected president, Philip Vilakazi, distanced the union from claims it had taken a side. A month ago, at the NUM's National Elective Conference, the union downplayed similar claims. Although critical of the ANC's decision to form the government of national unity with opposition parties, union members had not taken a a resolution on its endorsement in the tripartite alliance. While the resolution is tipped to be up for discussion at a special Congress, NUM says it won't take a decision at the expense of unity in the tripartite alliance. COSATU and its other key affiliates are also yet to take a decision on the matter. Nokukhanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
The NPA has welcomed a decision to deny bail for Thabo Teletsane, who has been charged with fraud and impersonating a police official. Teletsane appeared before the Hatfield Magistrates Court in Pretoria yesterday and was denied bail after claiming he has 7 children and another on the way that he needs to provide for. Teletsane allegedly impersonated former National Director for Priority Crime Investigations Godfrey Lebeya by calling businessmen on separate occasions and swindling 50,000 rand from one of them. The NPA says evidence revealed that Teletsane has 2 previous convictions of fraud and forgery from 2020, making him likely to reoffend if released.
The state argued that the accused is likely to commit another offence since he allegedly committed this offence few days after being released on parole. The matter was then postponed to the 2nd of September for transfer to Court 16 at the Pretoria Magistrates Court.
And 2 workers have died and 10 have been wounded in explosions at a steel plant in the United States. The incident happened in the state of Pennsylvania. Some U.S. media outlets had reported that people were trapped under the rubble of the explosion, and videos on social media appear to show firefighters battling the blaze in front of a gutted industrial building under a thick plume of white smoke. The Clearton Coke Works is the largest coking factory in the United States, a facility where coal is processed to produce coke, a key fuel in steel making. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 2 and 5 degrees, peaking at highs between 20 and 22.
And in the traffic in El Dorado Park, we've got delays on the Golden Highway between Union Avenue and the N1. This is due to the long-term roadworks that are taking place between these 2 points. Please be on the lookout there while traveling on the Mike 1 North bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is between Boyson's Road and Carr Street, and this is due to peak time delays.
The top story this hour, the DA has reiterated that transformation policies should be abolished.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
Hi, 702 listeners. My name is Paco from Kalinan. The one thing that I love about 702 is Bongani Bingwa.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
Remember when you had to wait for dial-up to connect? Well, technology moves on. So why are people still driving cars like it's 1999? Volvo's plug-in hybrids are the upgrade you've been waiting for. You don't need diesel power. You just need a second electric motor. Just like you updated from dial-up to fiber, you can upgrade your drive with electric for the city and fuel for the open road. Don't be the last one to catch up. You're late for your test drive. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
Change is an unannounced visitor. It can derail you or delight you. It's pushy, inescapable, intriguing. Change is motivating. Change is action. Change has places for you to be. Change is opportunity. We always have our door open to it. For over 3 decades, we've been committed to seeking out the best investment opportunities for you, wherever they may be. 91. Investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age, or now also in a no-water-needed, fruity-flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and flemmings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongs. How are you, sir? My name is James from Joburg. I understand these things that are happening, but they say what goes around comes around. If other countries do what you are doing in hospitals, what Dula is doing, I don't think it will be nice. Because who knew that we will be having some people in Ukraine South Africans in Ukraine, South Africans in Gaza. Yo, this is a time bomb.
Morning, Bongani and team. It's Hidden Rodiput. I personally have no problem with assisting people. I have no problem with extending helping hand. However, I have a problem if you extend the helping hand to the neighbors while your kids are suffering. South Africa is suffering. We cannot afford to be helping people from neighboring countries if our current systems are overburdened. People are unemployed. People use these facilities, except they go there at 4 in the morning, our grandmothers, and they still cannot get medication because there are people getting medication, taking them home to sell them. We cannot act like we are the messiahs in this country. We're not. We need to ensure that our people are serviced before we service anyone else, and that's just it.
So the complexity of this issue demands us to ask questions and not just look for easy answers. Let me start with James from Joburg. James, they do in those other countries, they do exactly that. I was applying, so I'm going to Italy for my birthday this year, and I went to go do my visa application yesterday. I had to have all sorts of forms to get as part of that Schengen visa application. 3 months bank statements. I need to show proof of residence. I need to have a letter from my employer. I've got to show that I've got travel insurance. There's a whole bunch of stuff I had to prove that are sorted. And I'm only there for maybe 3 or 4 days. I don't like long or extended holidays. Plus, I don't know if I have the leave days. But that's another conversation altogether, right? They do. You can't just walk into a US hospital and expect a free service, if you're not a resident or a citizen. They already do. So, James, I'm not sure if your argument holds. But we've also got to ask the question, why is our system buckling? If there wasn't corruption, think of what Babita Deokaran was killed for in Tembisa. This wasn't chump change. She was killed for identifying corruption that ran into the billions. The billions. Now, if all that money was available, even the pressure that might be brought to bear on a hospital like that by, say, the presence of foreign nationals, would it be as high? Having said that, we're looking at, I've been watching Operation Dudula for some time now, and my observation, it's just my perception, my observation is nobody's taking what they're doing seriously. And I think it's convenient for those in charge because the anger of the citizens is not directed at their failures, the kind of stuff Deokaran was pointing out. It's directed at these foreigners, they're easy scapegoats. But what happens when it explodes? And what happens when they come for someone else?
EWN Sport.
Changes are coming, not just because Cindy's not here and Anthony's here all week. Anthony, good morning.
Good morning, Bongani.
Siya Kolisi playing at number 8.
It is a bit of a shock, if we're being totally honest.
Rassi's such a maverick, eh?
It is also out of necessity, if we're also honest. Because regular number 8, Jasper Visser is still serving that 4-match ban for headbutting an Italian player last month. Ulrich Lowe and Cameron Hanekom, who are cover, unavailable through injury. That does mean that Captain Siya Kolisi will be starting at number 8 for the Springboks for that Wallabies Rugby Chess Championship opener. The reject back row will see Peter Steph du Toit and Marco van Staden starting either side of the captain. Coach Rassie Rasmus reflected on the lapses in concentration that we saw during that Italian series.
I think our expectations are really, really high from the team, and we disappointed ourselves with the intensity there. I don't think the start was bad. I think we had actually a really good start. I think when you see the scoreboard and you think, we're 25-3 up, that's a lesson that we definitely learned. I don't think we'll have the luxury of Australia being up with 20 points and the guys relax a little bit. So.
Switching to football, where Bafana have a first win at the African Nations Championship after beating Guinea 2-1. They moved third in Group C, level on points with Algeria, but with a worse-off goal difference. While Crystal Palace came back to earth with a third after Sunday's Community Shield success. The Court of Arbitration for Sport upheld UEFA's decision to demote the FA Cup winners to the Conference League for breach of multi-club ownership rules. Good news for Nottingham Forest, who have now confirmed their spot in the Europa League for the season. The Spanish Federation have paved the way for La Liga's encounter between Barcelona and Villarreal to be played in Miami. The December encounter will be the first league game to be played outside of Spain, should UEFA and FIFA approve it. And netball has seen the Spa Proteas add a bit of youth to their squad while welcoming back a veteran, Shadeen van der Merwe, to the setup. The side will, throughout September and October, tour the two top sides in the world, New Zealand and Australia. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Good morning, Uncle Bongani and team. My name is Oluji. I am 13 years old and I go to Lyra School Danota. When I grow up, I want to be a soccer player. I'm so excited to play on the Whiz Quiz this morning.
How many goals will you score? Will they be 10,000 rand?
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702 13 to 7. Amma, what are you seeing on the roads?
Well, we've got delays on the N1 South in the Midrand area. This is due to an accident that happened right near Samrand Avenue. As a result, there's delays on the N1 North as well between Olifantsfontein Road and Samrand Avenue. While traveling on the Mark 1 North, peak time delays between Boysons Road and Carr Street. Please be on the lookout there and be patient on the roads. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 76. I had to go home and change because the weather forecast was wrong. Well, fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsman ease traffic congestion to get you there quickly and safely. And Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. This is in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
When your internet connection fails, does it really matter how fast it is? Business class internet is built for businesses. With remote monitoring, that means faster problem resolution and a backup LTE connection that keeps you online. Your company deserves business class internet because just reboot the router isn't a business strategy. Find reliability at vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Further together. Vodacom Business.
At the heart of the global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. And as Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Dreaming of your next getaway? Whether it's a sun-soaked beach escape, adventure-packed tour, or luxury cruise, Flight Centre is your go-to for travel. From flights and hotels to tours and cruises, we've got it all. Plus travel insurance for peace of mind. If you want the best deals, you can save more by taking advantage of our Bundle Plus Save offer. Plan your trip today at your nearest Flight Centre store or visit flightcentre.co.za. Flight Centre, your center for travel.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Oh man, this year's Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko. We're honoring local legends shaping our province. One service, one customer at a time. So as you know, we asked you to nominate your favorite local businesses, and boy, did you show up. So now we've got finalists, those entrepreneurs that came from your nominations. Now you need to vote for them, hey, to secure their spot as Gauteng's greatest. And the category is bakery. I'm going to do a vote. No, maybe not. Dilly Donuts, Grumpy's Cafe, Sharon's Shortbread, Something Nice, the Bread Box Bakery and Studio. The scent of freshly baked goods draws them in. Great service keeps them coming back. Yoko counter gives bakeries the tools to serve faster, run smarter, and rise above the competition. Track stock in real time, manage staff, cash up quickly, all in one system straight out of the box. It's the smartest till you'll ever own. Go to yoko.com to order your counter. So these are the businesses you believed in. The finalists. Voting opens at 6 a.m. on primemediaplus.com. It's your chance to crown the best of the best, and keep listening to 702 throughout the day as we reveal more names in the running for Gauteng's greatest with 702, powered by Yoko.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Oluchi is 13 years old and wants to be a footballer later in life. Oluchi, who's your favorite soccer player?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, you and I have something in common there, but let's see if you can score as quickly as Ronaldo. KG, start the clock. Spell the word Eastern.
E-A-S-T.
E-R-N is the rest. Which country is larger, South Africa or Namibia?
South Africa.
Correct. True or false? Hot air will rise.
May you please repeat the question?
True or false? Hot air will rise.
True.
Correct. Which is a cartoon dog, Snowy or Felix?
Snowy.
Correct. How long is the shortest month in a leap year?
February.
How long is the shortest month in a leap year? 29 days is the answer we're looking for there. True or false? The island Taiwan is part of Asia.
True.
Correct. In cricket, the abbreviation LBW stands for leg before what?
Pass.
Wicket. Wicket is the answer we were looking for there. Took some delays in answering some of the questions. Not the best of rounds for you there, Oluchi. 400 Rand, though, is still something. Better than nothing. That's what you walk away with for this morning's Whiz Quiz.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
The next hour. What's the question? Brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash up for grabs. So you send us an answer based on anything that piqued your interest during the show, and for that you win 1,000 Rand. Simply WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Then later someone else will ask a question to win 2,000 Rand. You always stand a better chance of being selected if you SMS out to Outsurance to get a quote. So do it now. SMS out to 4512 to save on your car insurance.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
7 minutes before 7 o'clock. On to this now. It would seem that the national dialogue that has been planned for later this week is, if not falling apart before it even begins, but certainly faces significant challenges. The DA has said it will not participate in what they are calling an expensive talk shop, and now all of these legacy foundations, including the Steve Biko Foundation, the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, and others, are pulling out at least of the planning phase. But the presidency is steaming ahead, saying that there are others who will continue that process. ActionSA is reconsidering its own position about whether or not this is something it needs to participate in. To explain what their thinking is, we've invited ActionSA parliamentary leader Athol Trollip to join us. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Bongani. Thank you for your time, and good morning to your listeners.
Do I have it right that ActionSA is reconsidering its position on the national dialogue?
You certainly have. And let me just say, Bongani, that, the DA have boycotted this national dialogue. They are part of the GNU, and all of the members of the GNU initiated this process. It was part of their agreement. And now the DA is boycotting it for various reasons. We, however, want to participate because if there's a national dialogue and there's issues to be put on the table about the state of our country, we want to participate. But we don't want to legitimize a process that is becoming more and more illegitimate. We do not want to go to a process that is dominated by an overbearing ANC that has lost its majority yet still wants to manipulate everything in the country. And then the withdrawal by these legacy foundations was a big alarm for us, because they've said things like they're not sure of where the budget's coming from, when it's coming, how our procurement process is going to work. It's reminiscent of the COVID days, with money just being spent at the last minute, emergency expenditure, emergency procurement, no PFMA accountability. And then the biggest issue actually is the independence of this process. If it's dominated by the presidency and the ANC, then we have a fundamental problem with it. So we are meeting again today. We met last night. We're meeting again today to discuss whether we will participate fully or whether we will be there on a watching brief and send members of parliament to do oversight to see how the taxpayers' money is actually being spent and whether we're getting value for money.
If you opt not to go, Athol, aren't you essentially making the same arguments, more or less, as the DA made just later in the day?
No, I don't think so, because remember, the DA was part of the GNU and they signed into this national dialogue as part of the statement of intent, and then later boycotted because one of their members was expelled, and that they insisted that 2 or 3 ministers needed to be expelled as well, and therefore they boycotted. We are not going to boycott.
Yeah.
As I said, we are going to send a watching brief delegation, or we will attend fully as delegates. We haven't made up our mind. Today will be a final meeting where we'll decide on that, but we cannot just fold our arms and watch, at least R500 million being spent without any accountability. And then what's more, this national dialogue isn't just about a weekend of discussions. It's about taking the dialogue to every single ward in all the municipalities of this country. And we can't allow that to essentially become a state-funded ANC election campaign for the next year's election.
One of the concerns many members of the public have, and no doubt you'll share it, is if monies for the funeral of Nelson Mandela were not sacred, and you mentioned COVID earlier, what makes this process free from those who would want to taint it with corruption or at least patronage networks? We've seen figures of as high as 800 million rand bandied about. I pressed the president's spokesperson on a final figure yesterday, and he wouldn't commit to anything, not even a ceiling of what the president will not go beyond. So it just feels opaque, and it feels like we are potentially talking about vast sums of money. That should surely concern you.
It concerns us tremendously, Bongani, because as I said earlier, these are the very same people that stole the money, the funeral money of their own president and our iconic president. These are the very same people. Nothing's changed. Their habits haven't changed. So if the watchdogs, the Legacy Foundation stakeholders, participants, planners, if they are pulling out, then who is going to watch over these people? And that is why we will not simply stay away. We will either send a watching brief, a delegation of parliamentarians to attend, or we will attend fully. But we haven't made up our mind in that regard. We need more guarantees about how the system will roll out and who will be guiding it. If it's simply an ANC window dressing exercise that is essentially going to make up their 2026 election campaign, we will not legitimize that.
One of the things people are struggling with is, as ordinary folk, we know what we deal with every day in terms of the challenges this country faces, from jobs to inequality to the state of infrastructure all around us to crime. Why do we need the elites to discuss what we already know?
Well, precisely. And, the real disappointment has been the fact that the electorate withdrew the ANC's majority at their last election, and many people saying that is essentially the national dialogue, the last election. But what has happened since is there's been a government of national unity that promised to grow the economy, to create jobs, to cut corruption, to do all the things that are so patently and obviously necessary in this country, and that hasn't happened. We continue to lose jobs. We continue to see corruption flourish. Nothing has changed, really.
I mean, we're told there'll be about 1,000 delegates. They've confirmed over 500 attendees this weekend. They're saying from 28 sectors, from more than 200 organizations. We've got frameworks chaired, one of them, the eminent persons, chaired by Professor Tinyiko Maluleke and Rolf Meyer. There's an international ministerial committee, an interministerial committee, chaired by Deputy President Paul Mashatile, etc., etc. These are people who have each other's phone numbers, who are talking to each other through various processes like NEDLAC, for example. It's a little tricky for most of us to understand the necessity for this in the first instance.
Well, that's the other issue. The budget apparently is not clear yet. Nobody has given the stakeholders and the organizers a clear budget. Nobody has told them how it's going to unfold, and therefore they're starting to ask questions about this whole process. Now, can you imagine the authenticity of this program if the organizers themselves have also indicated that they're not ready for Friday, the 15th of August, and that it should be delayed for a week or two? I mean, we've waited for more than a year for this national dialogue since the last election. What is another week or two to make sure that all the preparations are done and that all the questions are cleared up and that there's no cloud hanging over this process? The president is going ahead, he insists he's going ahead when major legacy stakeholders and foundations have withdrawn. To me, this seems like it's become another fight between the former President Mbeki and the current President Ramaphosa. Clearly, they have no love. There's no love lost there. And it's unfortunate that it has now gone down to that. But it's just more than the Thabo Mbeki Foundation. So this adds some credibility to their withdrawal.
Well, they'll argue that they came because of Thabo Mbeki. We'll leave it there. Athol Trollip will await your announcement, presumably later today. ActionSA parliamentary leader there saying his party is reconsidering its participation or role in the upcoming national dialogue.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
We're looking at the actions of Operation Dudula and why have they been largely left alone to take the law into their own hands. What happens when this explodes? That's all to come after this Eyewitness News brought to you by Khalix. Khalix, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is EWN.
MPs raise questions about the funds to be used for the national dialogue, and the DA says it hasn't been informed about the possible expansion of GNU partners. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. With the total costs of the national dialogue still unclear and a major point of contention, Parliament's Appropriations Committee plans to query the expenditure. Chairperson Malume Herbie says he's concerned about how the national dialogue will be funded and implemented. Over the weekend, the presidency said the full budget is yet to be determined and would depend on donations and other free services. Yesterday, the organising committee said that this week's two-day national convention, which will precede the dialogue, will cost 8 million rand. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
While the presidency has indicated it will be funding the first phases of the national dialogue along with NEDLAC, there's still no firm price tag for the undertaking. Initial estimated costs of more than 700 million rand have been criticised by some quarters, given the many competing demands on a constrained fiscus. Chairperson of Parliament's Appropriations Committee, Malume Herbie, says while the national dialogue is a critical initiative towards reimagining South Africa's future, he's concerned about the lack of a funding strategy. He's now written to the National Treasury to provide clarity on the budget votes that will be funding the dialogue and whether any government programs will be affected by the diversion of funds. Maimane says Treasury must provide a comprehensive list of the programs that will be affected by funding the national dialogue. He adds it's concerning that respected civil society voices are stepping away from the process. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
DA leader John Steenhuisen says the ANC is yet to consult coalition partners about its intention to expand the government of national unity. Last week, the ANC announced plans to broaden the coalition, saying there's growing interest from some opposition parties to join the unity government. While Steenhuisen is opposed to this decision, he also says that coalition partners deserve to know if there are plans to include other parties. Alfara Mushwana reports.
DA leader John Steenhuisen says if the ANC believes expanding the government of national unity will resolve its current internal issues, it needs to think again.
And I think that there should be rather more energy and focus spent on improving the relations amongst parties within the GNU.
He adds that if the ANC intends to broaden the government of national unity, the very least it should do is to consult coalition partners.
We entered into something called the Statement of Intent. It was signed by all parties. The statement of intent makes it abundantly clear that if new parties are to be added to the government of national unity, that this has to be done in consultation with the parties that are currently in the GNU.
The ANC says parties that supported the national budget are seemingly interested in joining the government of national unity. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
And the United Nations, European Union and media rights groups have all condemned the killing of an Al Jazeera news team by Israel. The 5 men were attacked in a media tent on Sunday night, with Israel claiming one of their correspondents, Anas al-Sharif, was a member of Hamas. His employer says that's not true and that the assassinations of the news crew are parts of a deliberate campaign by Israel to kill Palestinian journalists. Media freedom groups have also condemned the Israeli strike on journalists, which the UN Human Rights Agency called a grave breach of international humanitarian law. Reporters Without Borders say nearly 200 journalists have been killed in Gaza since Hamas and Israel started fighting in October 2023. Stefan Dujarric is the spokesperson for the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
The Secretary General condemns the killing of the 6 Palestinian journalists in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza City on August 10th. These latest killings highlight the extreme risks that journalists continue to face when covering this ongoing conflict. The Secretary General calls for an independent and impartial investigation into these latest killings.
Gold is trading at $3,354.16 an ounce. The rand is at 17.73 to the dollar, 23.83 to the pound, 20.62 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $66.88 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Selby, there's been an accident on the M2 West. This is just at the Crown interchange. It's already causing delays there. Please be on the lookout while traveling on the N1 North, heading towards the city of Tshwane. We've got another accident reported. This one is right near Samrand Avenue. It's also causing delays. Please drive with care.
And in your sport, Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns have quick turnarounds following disappointing Betway Premiership openers. Kwena Mapaka in search of more wickets down under ahead of the second T20, and the latest from the Cincinnati Open.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg is at 7 degrees, peaking at 21. Pretoria, 9 and 22. For the Innergang, 5 and 22 as well. The top story in EWN this hour, with the total costs of the National Dialogue still unclear and a major point of contention, Parliament's Appropriations Committee plans to query the expenditure.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You may not know this, but 2 things stand in the way of some young people getting a job interview. One of them is the cost of travel, and the other, the cost of a suit. Well, since Khaliks introduced their suit trade-in promotion, over 7,000 suits have been refurbished and distributed thanks to you. So Khaliks are committed to helping young people find employment and have helped in training them too. So when it comes to business, start with Khaliks, committed to helping young businessmen make their best start. Khaliks, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Do we call it medical xenophobia? Health workers, nurses, doctors, many of them in the system say they are stressed, overworked, and under-resourced. And they're saying a huge factor is the presence of foreign nationals within the system. And if they could, they'd turn them away. So an Operation Dudula comes along and says, Abahambe. Is it any wonder that they're almost always left to their own devices to do so? But here's a question. What are we not hearing from not only the nurses and the doctors in the system, but from those patients who go to hospitals and are told there are no medications, who are told there are no appointments, who are told there are no beds because the system is so overstretched? That conversation coming up.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
10 after 7. Have you found the DA's performance in the government of national unity particularly impressive? Have you found its ministers people that you can take seriously? Has the DA earned the brownie points, if you will, by being a part of this government, by being a part of this coalition? Yesterday, its leader, John Steenhuisen, made a bold statement about their plans to turbocharge the economy. Unveiling at their Bruma headquarters, the DA Bruma headquarters on the East Rand, he says their plan is going to call out the biggest stumbling growths to the biggest stumbling block to growth. And he says it's the current triple BEE laws, employment equity, and the Expropriation Act. How does that sit with you?
We unveil our plan today to turbocharge the economy. And the first order of business in this plan is to target three major roadblocks that we see, which are holding our economy back and preventing economic growth, inward investment, and the ability of entrepreneurs and others to succeed in a country like South Africa. These three roadblocks are triple BEE, employment equity, and the Expropriation Act. Triple BEE and the racial quotas that go along with it have failed. Over the last decade, black unemployment has grown, and black household income has fallen dramatically. These policies have failed, and together with expropriation without compensation, creates an environment that deters investment, that hobbles growth and job creation, and ensures that the majority of South Africans remain locked out of opportunity in this country.
You know what I'd love for him to explain? Where does this black middle class that has emerged in the last 30 years, where does it come from? Now, have the politically connected and the elites absolutely abused some of these laws for their own benefit and created patronage networks from which most South Africans are excluded no matter what your color? You can make that argument forcefully. But to say the entire thing is broken, then how do you explain this black middle class that has emerged precisely because of this legislation? The other big D-Day, if you will, is happening this Friday as US President Donald Trump meets his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin. They're going to be talking about bringing peace to Ukraine, and what is now clear is that there's certainly going to be some loss of territory for the Ukrainians, and most pointedly, Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, won't be there.
I thought it was very respectful that the president of Russia is coming to our country as opposed to us going to his country or even a third party place. But I think we'll have constructive conversations. Then after that meeting, next meeting will be with Zelensky and Putin, or Zelensky and Putin and me. I'll be there if they need, but I want to have a meeting set up between the two leaders. I'm going to go and see the parameters. Now, I may leave and say, good luck, and that'll be the end. I may say this is not going to be settled. I mean, there are those that believe that Putin wanted all of Ukraine. I happen to be one of them, by the way. I think if it weren't for me, he would not be even talking to anybody else right now. But I'm going to meet with him. We're going to see what the parameters are. I'm then going to call up President Zelensky and the European leaders right after the meeting, yeah. And I'm going to tell them what kind of a deal. I'm not going to make a deal. It's not up to me to make a deal. I think a deal should be made for both.
Donald Trump wouldn't have happened if he hadn't been there.
7:02. Up next.
The big interview.
Things you need to know at this hour. Adam Gilchrist has a story coming out of Nepal and what they're doing to boost tourism in remote Western provinces. As I say, US President Donald Trump confirming that he and the Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet in Alaska on Friday for that high-stakes summit, hopefully aimed at resolving the ongoing war in Ukraine. The Western Cape High Court is set to hear a pivotal appeal today as Kelly Smith, Jackin Apollos, and Steveno van Rijn challenged their conviction and sentences for the kidnapping and trafficking of Kelly's 6-year-old daughter, Jocelyn Smith. And it was on this day, 1989, Richard Marx topped the Billboard Hot 100 with his massive hit, Right Here Waiting.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amo, who is right here waiting in traffic.
People on the N1 North Bongani heading towards the city of Tshwane due to a major accident near Sambrand Avenue. Delays coming out of Olifantsfontein Road. The southerly direction of this route is also backed up with delays from the Brakfontein interchange on Olifantsfontein Road. If you were traveling in the city of Tshwane Centurion, delays along Old Johannesburg Road. This is between the N14 and Lenchen Avenue. This is due to the peak time delays at this time of the morning. Please, if you're driving in the area, be on the lookout and drive with care. I'll have your next traffic updates in a while. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
I work at Optimi College. We offer distance learning solutions.
How is it that Outsurance provided the solution for you?
918 Rand is what I'm saving.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You're helping people to do better, and Outsurance is doing better for you.
Definitely. If Outsurance will not be able to beat your current premiums, remember there's that 500 Rand that you could get.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
Tell me, what brings you and Outsurance together?
You know, Jacques, I've been battling to get a nice car insurance, man. Someone that can give you nice service. Whenever you call them, they're there for you. You know, Outsurance, I found them. I'm saving a cool $360.
Why put yourself through the pain? Be like Jermaine.
Yes, be like Jermaine and sign up with Outsurance.
Get the real deal with the real savings.
Yes, there we go. I made the right move.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch it this Wednesday at 10 to 9. We're speaking to Unilever Southern Africa. Their CEO, Justin Apsey, will be with us in conversation. We do this on Wednesdays to highlight efforts of brands and companies dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Primedia Cares initiative with 702 and Primedia Outdoor. Let's walk the talk and together make a difference.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is street ahead. Warrior Paints, affordable, lasting, luxury.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Businesses with heart, supporting communities. This year's Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko. We want to honor local legends. So we've asked you to nominate your favorite local businesses, and boy oh boy, did you show up. The spotlight now shifts to the finalists, but you still need to vote for them. So in this category, the greatest date night restaurant, these are the finalists: DW1113, Tipu Cafe, La Pergola, Garden Shed Restaurant, and Brasier de Paris. When it's date night, everything has to click. Yoko Counter has the smartest till you'll ever own. Keeps your restaurant on track with smart sales insights, stock tracking, and seamless staff management all in one place. So you can focus on plating up, not adding up. That's Yoko Counter. Ready to upgrade your business? Go to yoko.com. So these are the businesses you believed in. These are your finalists. Voting has opened at 6 a.m. on primemediaplus.com. It's your chance to help crown the best of the best. Keep listening to 702 throughout the day as we reveal more names in the running for Gauteng's greatest with 702, powered by Yoko.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
It's 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. This is the issue we're dealing with today. Yes, Operation Dudula is taking the law into their hands. But do they have a point about our hospitals and our clinics? And why is it that often nurses and even police officers turn a blind eye? Has Operation Dudula become a convenient tool either to detract from the anger many South Africans are feeling, but also because they do what the government cannot? And what will happen when it all explodes? We've invited two special guests to help us wade through this issue. We've got Professor Loren Landau, who's a professor of migration and development at the University of the Witwatersrand. Also, of course, part of the Center for Migration and Society. And then, of course, we've got an immigration lawyer at Rousseau's Attorneys, Ashraf Essop. Both of them joining us. And I'm going to have you both speak to us at the same time, so it won't be one after the other, as it were, as we try and deal with this. Professor Landau, let me start with you. For the average South African who may not know, what does the law actually say about foreign nationals and who has a right to access healthcare here in South Africa?
The law is based on a principle that we are all healthier if everyone around us gets access to healthcare. It's very clear. If it's emergency care, life-saving care, everyone gets it. There can be no questions asked. When it comes to immigrants, you're entitled to care if you're here with documents. You have to pay more. If you're an asylum seeker and a refugee, you shouldn't have to pay more. And let's be clear also that the numbers of foreigners are not the reason that we're getting problems accessing healthcare.
We've heard from the Department of Health they don't keep any statistics around how many foreign nationals are accessing our hospitals and clinics. And so without anyone keeping track of that data, how do we really know?
Well, they're meant to keep records because you have to have some kind of identification when you're seeking medical assistance or any assistance. So it's not like an anonymous person is being attended to. Again, it's administratively heavy to ask records to be kept for years. But certainly in the short term, they should be having records as to who they're servicing.
That's what I'm saying, because part of what we've heard, thank you for coming in there, Ashraf Essop. I was actually directing that question to Professor Landau, because, Prof, you are saying that it's not the foreign nationals who are overburdening our system, but my question is, if we don't have any data on the countries of origin of the people the system helps, how do we know? Prof?
Right. I think, if I can just jump in, I think what's clear is if we look at the percentage of foreigners in the country, it's only about 3-4%. If we look at the number of asylum seekers and refugees, which has been the target in the recent weeks, they are 5 per 1,000 in the country. So if we're looking at a system that is burdened, just statistically, these people would have to be seeking healthcare all the time in order to be undermining the system. So yes, they may seek more than others, probably not, because they have all of these obstacles, but we don't even need the statistics from the healthcare system to know that the vast majority of people seeking healthcare and the vast majority of people struggling to seek healthcare are South Africans.
Ashraf Essop, let me now bring you into this. I want you to explain to me what happens in the process of asylum seeking and why it is possible then that somebody without documents, while still waiting for the outcomes of that process, may then be entitled to accessing healthcare.
So there's two issues. The one is when you enter South Africa, you're meant to enter from a port of entry, and you'll be issued with an asylum-seeking permit or visa for you to make yourself available to the nearest refugee reception office. That would be in Gauteng, will be at Maravastad. So that's how it's supposed to operate. Then you make the application, and you may get an initial 3-month permit, and you'll then await the renewal of that. It should be possible to renew online, and then it should be possible for you to get your documentation back. Now, that's the ideal state. When that doesn't happen, then you find yourself either unable to make the initial application or unable to find a suitable slot or one appointed to you to do a renewal. Now, the Department of Home Affairs, the refugees reception officers in Marabastad only cater for 50 people sometimes on a day, and it's divided between different nations. So Monday could serve Pakistanis, Tuesday DRC, etc. We don't know yet. So you could see from what I'm saying, there's the ideal situation and then there's the practical situation. So the fact that you in the Republic on an expired asylum-seeking permit doesn't necessarily make you illegal. Yes, technically you are, but you should be able to be accommodated if you can prove that you've made the application, you've made the online application for renewal, and it hasn't come out yet. But that shouldn't be a barrier for you accessing any kind of assistance, be it healthcare, education, water.
All right. Professor Landau, notwithstanding what we've just heard there from Ashraf Essop, an overburdened system to grant asylum seekers the documents they need to begin with. This is quite apart from actually verifying what the applicants are claiming in those applications. And so caught in that, shall we call it a state of limbo then, many of these foreign nationals are, as you pointed out, entitled to the same health benefits as citizens. So they don't pay for HIV or TB treatments. And more importantly, South Africans will watch that many of them don't face, for example, the same means tests that many of us must pass to contribute. And even if they charged anything, we've heard from the Department of Health, they've got no mechanism to enforce that those amounts are indeed paid. Many South Africans who go to these facilities and are told there are no appointments available, no medicines available, feel resentful. Are they wrong? Prof, we're losing you there. Let's just try there again. Professor Landau, we're losing you there. Let's try again. Go ahead. Prof. Landau? Well, I'm not sure what's going on with our connection. Ashraf, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
I mean, maybe let me pose that question to you then, because we seem to have lost the professor. Many South Africans will look at the scenarios that I've just outlined and they'll feel aggrieved.
Yes, we must understand that that is a boiling point. It is a point of contention. It is a point of competition for resources, for competition for income, and then the ability to access the state. So anyone will feel resentful. I mean, even if you in the supermarket queue and somebody else comes to jump the queue, you as an ordinary person will feel enraged. So these are all normal reactions and human reactions. But the problem is not with the people accessing it. The problem is a dysfunctional department of Home Affairs, as a dysfunctional Department of Health. So everyone could and can access it equally. But even if you remove every single foreigner from the country, does that mean we'll be just able to walk into any clinic? It's well stocked, it's well run, there's personnel there. Is that the view that we're competing against? So, and I fear that it wouldn't be so easy, even if you remove all of the problems, because we have very, very deep-rooted problems in our various departments.
So
that has to be sorted out.
You may have a view on this, but I'll ask you, is that why, in a sense, Operation Dudula is almost convenient? Because the anger of the people isn't being directed at the failures you've just pointed out. It's being directed at foreign nationals. And most of the time, when these groups take the law into their own hands, they get away with it either because police officers are looking the other way, and we've even heard of allegations where healthcare workers might be complicit.
When any person or any society takes the law into their own hands, then it breaks down the respect for the law and the rule of law. Because We've suffered for almost 300 years here at the point of where people had taken the law and humanity into their own hands and exploited it. So there's a real danger there. Whatever Operation Dudula's intentions, etc., I'm unable to comment on that. But certainly, I'm one that says and insists that we have to follow the law. And if anyone is complicit in this, well, they should be charged with it as well. Most people have cameras, and if there are police personnel or somebody else that's aiding and assisting in the breaking of the law, then there are channels to follow to have that investigated and finalized.
All right, appreciate your time. Ashraf Essop there, immigration lawyer. We also had Professor Loren Landau from Wits University. And my final comment on this is simply that if these groups are allowed to take the law into their own hands, however justified their frustrations may feel to them, and increasingly as this thing spreads, it does appear to me that we're not acting with enough decisiveness on this issue. What happens when they start going into people's homes, into schools, demanding identification, dragging people out of their places of work? What happens if they want them out of entire neighborhoods? What happens when this thing explodes? And who is to say that others won't see this and think, well, if they got away with that, we'll get away with this. Think Zama-Zamas and think of other areas of lawlessness in South Africa.
EWN Business.
Higher sales and lower costs, all helping Rainbow Chicken to increase its revenue, Mateo.
Yeah, Rainbow Chicken says its turnaround plan is hatching better results. The broiler producer says higher sales, a lower backup power and feed costs have led to better operational performances. The chicken producer, which owns brands like Farmer Brown and Simply Chicken, says it expects an increase in revenue for the year to June. Rainbow Chicken's headline earnings per share, which is a profit measure in South Africa, are projected to range between 214 and 234% from the previous year. The company is recovering from a more than 200 million rand loss caused by the bird flu outbreak in 2023.
Manufacturing production up.
Yeah, this is a good data point for South Africa's economy. Local manufacturing production increased by 1.9% year on year in June, above the market expectation of 1%. Stats SA says the highest positive contributors included the food and drinks sector, which increased by 6%, and the petroleum, chemical products, rubber and plastics industry, which was up by 2%.
Your indicators?
The rand at 17 rand 71 cents against the US dollar, to 23 rand 64 cents against the euro, and 23 rand 71 against the British pound. A price of gold at $3,337 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,331. Brent crude at $66.32 a barrel. More business after 8.
Time now for your latest eyewitness news. What a horrible story from our basic education system. Sviso Zulu, good morning.
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. Education activists say schools must be a place of safety for children after a learner died following punishment for being late. It's alleged the grade 10 pupil at the Huudi Secondary School in the Northwest was instructed by a teacher to run on school grounds yesterday. The child collapsed and was taken to a clinic but was declared dead on arrival. Education activist Hendrik Makenade says someone needs to account for the learner's death.
Schools are meant to be safe spaces where learners can thrive. Disciplinary practices that endanger learners' health or dignity have no place in a democratic society. This learner's death could have been avoided. We demand full accountability from the teacher involved, along with the school's leadership and the provincial education department.
Despite employment statistics indicating a rise in the black middle class in the last 30 years, the DA argues that transformation policies should be abolished. The party says this legislation, including the Employment Equity Amendment Act, has had minimal impact on reducing unemployment in the country. While the Employment Equity Amendment Act aims to promote inclusivity in the workplace, the DA maintains that race should never be a deciding factor. Speaking at a media briefing yesterday, DA leader John Steenhuisen expressed disagreements with the effectiveness of these laws.
And the first order of business in this plan is to target three major roadblocks that we see, which are holding our economy back and preventing economic growth, inward investment, and the ability of entrepreneurs and others to succeed in a country like South Africa. These three roadblocks are BBBEE, Employment Equity, and the Expropriation Act.
The NPA has welcomed a decision to deny bail for Thabo Teletsane, who has been charged with fraud and impersonating a police official. Teletsane appeared before the Hatfield Magistrates Court in Pretoria yesterday, and he was denied bail after claiming he has 7 children and another on the way that he needs to provide for. Teletsane allegedly impersonated former National Directorate for Priority Crime Investigations Godfrey Libia by calling businessmen on separate occasions and swindling 50,000 rand from one of them. The NPA says evidence revealed that Teletsane has 2 previous convictions for fraud and forgery from 2020, making him likely to reoffend if released.
The state argued that the accused is likely to commit another offense since he allegedly committed this offense few days after being released on parole. The matter was then postponed to the 2nd of September for transfer to Court 16 at the Pretoria Magistrates Court.
And Rwanda has branded UN accusations that its army helped the M23 armed group kill hundreds of civilians in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo unacceptable. Since taking up arms again in 2021, the M23 has seized a lot of mineral-rich Congolese east from the DRC's army, with Rwanda's help triggering a spiraling humanitarian crisis in a region already driven by 3 decades of conflict. The UN's human rights chief, Volker Turk, recently said that he was appalled that the M23 had killed at least 319 civilians in July in the east, despite a ceasefire and ongoing diplomatic push to end the long drawn-out conflict. Basing its reports on first-hand accounts, the rights body insisted the fighters were backed by members of the Rwanda Defense Force. While the Rwandan Ministry of Foreign Affairs did not deny the killings, it said that the inclusion of the RDF in these allegations is unacceptable. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 2 and 5 degrees, peaking at highs between 20 and 22.
And in the traffic in Germiston, we've got an accident on Power Street. It happened right at Weber Road. It's causing heavy delays. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling on the N17 West, we've got heavy traffic volumes due to roadworks taking place between Osborne Road and Heidelberg Road.
The top story this hour. Education activists say schools must be a place of safety for children after a learner died following punishment for being late.
Dear Journal, day 3049 of trying to be an adult. I still haven't bought a recycling bin, so there's a mountain of cans in my kitchen that could collapse at any moment. Anyway, what's that saying about your home being a reflection of your mental state?
Got evicted from the family home? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and South Africans from all walks of life to walk the talk for a better country. This Wednesday at 10 to 9, we're featuring Unilever Southern Africa with their CEO, Justin Apsey. We do this on Wednesdays to highlight efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Primedia Cares initiative with 702 and Primedia Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and together make a difference.
Extraordinary doesn't just happen. It's built, brick by digital brick. With every connection, every innovation, every leap forward. A cloud that scales with your vision. Security that earns your trust. AI that empowers smarter decisions. IoT that connects what truly matters. Connectivity that bridges every gap. We're not just building technology, we're building the future of South Africa. Stronger businesses, thriving communities, a nation connected, empowered, and ready to lead. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Start your journey at vodacombusiness.co.za. Vodacom Business. Further together.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bonks. I think South Africa is just oversaturated, man. But look, take us as foreigners in other countries. When we go to other countries, we pay for medical insurance, and most countries don't offer free health care to visitors. You know, you pay for that. I mean, even in Zimbabwe, if I go to Zimbabwe today, I won't get free medical care. You know, so I don't think we should be feeling bad for not being able to help them out. And the thing is, most of them are illegal in this country. You know, and if you're illegal in a particular country, that's a crime.
Morning, Bongani Bingwa and all the listeners. Chris here. My question is, if they want to prevent foreigners to get treatment from the hospital, why can't they prevent doctors as well to work in the hospital? Because there are some doctors as well who are foreigner there. So they must kick out the patient and the doctor. My point of view. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Bye.
Morning, Bongani. I'm gonna stay anonymous on this one. The gentlemen that you are having now as a host in your studio, they are out of touch with the realities of the South Africans. They are out of touch. What they are saying, you can tell that they are speaking from a privileged point. You know what I'm saying? If they could try to go to the health system, the public one, and try to seek for an assistance, they would feel exactly what the South Africans are feeling. But because now they're speaking from the comfort of their medical aids and all that, that's why they are making remarks like this. They must go on the ground and feel exactly what the South Africans are feeling. They must go to the ground. And we are not condoning what Operation Dudula is doing. But then they need to go and feel exactly what's happening.
Good morning, Bongani. I support Dudula 100%. Operation Dudula all the way. My mother is more happy when she goes to the hospital. It's in and out. In and out, less than 30 minutes. The doctors are friendlier, the nurses are friendlier, everything is smooth.
There was a recent report by Medical Brief published in Plus One, and it was a survey of public healthcare workers and their attitudes to migrants. And they found that many health care providers have a negative view of migrants. And they're saying these migrants should return to their home countries for health care. And a significant number also say the migrants only come to South Africa for healthcare. That's something to consider. Now, the question of illegality, and I think as our guests explained quite clearly, the fact that somebody doesn't have their documents doesn't necessarily mean they are here illegal. They might still be in a process of getting some approval, whatever their application is, whether it's asylum, whether it's residency, or even refugee status. But if you've got departments that can't process those applications quickly enough, these are people who are then stuck in limbo. And because they can't produce a document, you say they are here illegally, when in fact they might not. So that question isn't always as simple as it seems. Now, as for, I got that joke. He says, oh, you don't want us here, but you want us as doctors. You don't want us as patients, but you want us as doctors. I would posit that many of the doctors in the healthcare system are also here for a reason themselves. I mean, I don't think anybody puts a gun to their heads to say they must work in our hospitals. I don't know if it's being out of touch. The Department of Health has told us they don't have data. They don't keep statistics on how many foreign nationals are accessing the system. Why? Isn't it a little too convenient that all of this is based on anecdotal evidence? They don't have raw data, because if they did, they might come back and confirm the 3% figure we heard earlier from our guests. And confronted with raw data, then clearly the problem won't be the foreign nationals. It'll be how the system isn't working. maybe then Operation Dudula's anger won't be directed at the foreign nationals. It'll be directed at them. So of course they don't keep the data. And of course, they don't cause too much trouble for Operation Dudula. Wink, wink.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, and it's your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. Let's go to Tasneem in Randburg. Tasneem, what is today's answer, please?
1989.
Ooh, and tell me, Tasneem, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
Yeah, boy, yes, I do.
Your biscuits, 1,000 Rand is coming your way.
Woo-woo, thank you.
Thank you. Tasneem says the answer is 1989. So what's the question? Call us now on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
And although, Anthony Teixeira, it would be true if you were to ask, is the question, what is Bongani's favorite year in music? That would be true, but that's not the question.
Really? What came out in 1989?
Ooh, so many songs. Bobby Brown was a monster hit. It was the peak of New Jack Swing, so artists like Keith Sweat were prominent at the time. La Face was starting to make moves. Madonna's Like a Prayer album comes out then. Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation 1814 comes out. Aerosmith are doing the most. Tom Petty was back in the charts. Shall I go on?
No, at this point I'm overwhelmed.
What's your favorite year in music?
2007 I think was a good year.
2000, what came out in 2007?
Umbrella.
Wow. You can stand under my umbrella at the second match day of the Betway Premiership.
Yes, that will be kicking off this evening, the second match day of the Betway Premiership, with Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates going in search of a first win of their campaigns. Downs face AmaZulu at home, while Buccaneers are in Bloem against Marimo Gallants. From the start of the season until the end of September, Pirates have 2 fixtures a week as they contend with an international break in the middle of all of that. Coach Abdulsalam Wadu says it won't become an issue.
It's part of football. We know that since the beginning that we may have some very close game in the schedule. We have a lot of players. Maybe the rotation will be interesting when you have such many games in the short time.
There's also a clash of the new boys as Siwelele battle Orbit College. All matches kick off at 7:30. Bafana remain unbeaten at the African Nations Championship. Despite having less possession and shots, they secured a hard-fought 2-1 win over Guinea. They moved on to 4 points after that 1-1 draw in the opener over the weekend against Algeria. Everton have agreed a loan deal for Jack Grealish from Man City, while Savinho is reportedly also closing in on an Etihad exit with Spurs circling the winger. Bournemouth are closing in on £150 million sales in defenders this window alone. PSG are in on a centre-back, Ilya Zabrayan, for £57 million. In cricket, the Proteas will head into the second T20 against Australia, 1-0 down in the series. Kwena Mapaka took 4 for 20 to become the youngest fast bowler from a member nation to take 4 wickets in a T20 international at just the age of 19 over the weekend, and the pacer feels his competitive edge has been something that he's gradually built.
I think I've always been pretty confident. I have a lot of belief in my skill and I back my skill quite a bit. So I think I've always been quite a confident guy, and I've always been a real competitor. I never like losing. I think it's been something that's been instilled in me since I was really young.
Play begins at 11:15, and in tennis, Arena Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek and Madison Keys all advanced to the Cincinnati Open third round. Meanwhile, in the men's draw, Francis Tiafoe, Holger Rune and Taylor Fritz all snatched victories. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
Choose the best. The new Huawei Pura AT series. The master of photography. A super sensor with precision zoom. Stay sharp from dawn to dusk with a superior 1-inch ultralighting camera and ultralighting macro telephoto lens. The master of color, enhancing every frame with vibrant color and incredible clarity. Tricky lighting? No problem. Take portraits against the light with every face perfectly illuminated. It's more than a phone. It's a professional studio in your pocket. Go beyond with Huawei Pura AT series.
Did you know that the CSIR International Convention Center has over 40 years' experience in hosting international, local, and national business events? Located on a tranquil campus in Pretoria East, within the knowledge, hub, and science diplomacy capital, the city of Tshwane, this fit-for-purpose convention center is ideal for your association, congress, or other business events. For more information, visit csiricc.co.za. The CSIR International Convention Center, where smart minds meet.
As a business owner, would you rather deal with stacks of slips at the end of each day or have recons done instantly? Introducing Yoko Counter, the new all-in-one payments and points of sale system that removes the guesswork, the paperwork, and the time drain. Taking your business from chaos to control, guesswork to clarity, giving you back time to focus on what truly matters. Visit yoko.com today to find out more about the simple yet powerful out-of-the-box solution with free built-in points of sale software.
EWN Traffic.
10 to 8, and this EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we still have got that accident on the N1 North heading towards the city of Tshwane, leaving Midrand. It is causing heavy delays coming out of Olifantsfontein Road. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care while in Germiston. That one that was reported on Power Street is still there right at Weber Road. It's also causing heavy traffic volumes while traveling in Bedford View, particularly heading towards Eastgate Mall. We've got an accident reported on Albertina Sisulu Road right near Marshia Street. It's causing about a 15-minute hold up there. Please be on the lookout and approach with care. I'll have your next traffic update coming up shortly. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Don't ever settle for great. You know that great feeling after nailing a big presentation? Imagine upgrading that. I'm talking driving home with your car's massage seats, practically high-fiving your bum. Headlights so bright, you feel like the star your boss said you were. Arriving home, making an entrance, grander than your slide transitions. Go grand in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Visit opel.co.za for more.
Opel Grandland. 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Assurance. Please tell me what's the question. If the answer is 1989, let's go to Alton in George. Alton, what's the question?
Good morning, Bongani. Question is, in what year did Richard Marx's single Right Here Waiting reach #1?
On this day, hey? In 1989, it was a monster hit. It was a monster hit for Richard Marx. Elton, do you have a quote from Assurance?
Yes, I do.
Your biscuit, 2,000 Rand, is coming your way. Oh, man. Takes me back to my favorite year in music. What's yours?
Oceans apart, day after day, and I slowly go insane. I hear your voice on the line, but it doesn't stop the pain. If I see you next to never, then how can we say forever? Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. Whatever it takes, or how my heart breaks, I will be right here waiting for you.
Just phone Assurance, get a quote and see what they can offer you. If you don't save that 321 like I did, you might get a 500 or $1,000 back. Service and savings, you'll always get something out.
How is it that Outsurance provided the solution for you?
918 Rand is what I'm saving.
Incredible. What brought you and Outsurance together?
718 Rand. I end up saving.
They gave you the real deal.
It literally is the real deal.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and information online.
Fly Safe's Business Booster is back to help elevate and
and celebrate small local businesses. Enter now at flysafe.co.za. Tell us about your business, and you could be one of 6 standout enterprises to win 10 return business class flights plus brand exposure across FlySafe's various platforms. Whether you're making, creating, or innovating, we're here to help your business not just take off, but skyrocket. FlySafe, for the love of flying. T's and C's apply. There's power in a single partner who helps you build a better employee benefits strategy. Begin with retirement, the foundation of securing your employee's future. Now layer in everyday health, mental wellness, and financial balance. And finally, essential protection for life's curveballs, from illness to income loss. Now that sounds like a complete benefit strategy, one that protects your people and powers your business. Talk to us at employeebenefits@oldmutual.com about Old Mutual Corporate's integrated employee benefits solutions. Old Mutual Corporate is a division of Old Mutual Life Assurance Company SA Limited, a licensed FSP and life insurer. T's and C's apply.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Businesses with heart, supporting communities. It's the Gauteng Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko. We asked you to nominate local businesses, and now here are the finalists. Those names you nominated. In the category Greatest Food and Crafts Market are Market at the Sheds in Pretoria, the Lokrati Market in Soweto, Hazel Food Market in Pretoria, the Bryanston Market, and the Benoni Night Market. You've got what it takes to keep the crowds coming back for more. But do you have the payment tech to meet the demand? Choose Yoko Kumo, the compact, powerful, and portable card machine that takes payments from anywhere, tracks sales, and enables quick cash-ups. Ready to grow? Go to yoko.com. So these are the businesses you believed in. Keep listening to 702 throughout the day as we reveal more names in the running for Gauteng's Greatest with 702. You can go vote on primemediaplus.com. It's powered by Yoko.
702
702. What's gone viral?
with Kabazela.
Time now for the world of viral content. Woof, woof.
Bella, good morning. We'll be quick. We know we're behind on time here. This guy in Melbourne, Australia, was in his house and he noticed that 2 guys had tried to steal his car. So they jumped over the wall and his gate and got into his car. And what do you think he did? He didn't just phone the police or shout. He runs out of the house looking like the Hulk and starts barking. Let's take a listen to his bark, shall we?
Oh, I think we get the point.
If I was a thief, I think I would have had to change my underpants after seeing that guy come out.
So I wonder if it was so much that he barked as much as he probably appeared like a madman, and they didn't know what they were dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely would have got a fright seeing that come out of the house, I'm sure. But I mean, also probably adrenaline for him, and just got into the zone, I suppose, the fight mode rather than flight. And then these oaks get such a fright, they jump over that wall like it was nothing, and they disappeared. So the question this morning is, have you ever interrupted a thief or a burglar? There's 2 stories there. Maybe you're in the house and you saw somebody coming. What did you do? Push the alarm, panic button, or did you shout? And then lastly, if we wanted to make it a little bit lighter, do you have any animal sounds that you can make that you are really good at? Let's hear those this morning.
Go away, Kabazela. Go away. Meow. That's what's gone viral with Kabazela.
702
702. Feedback
with Siamtanda Matiso.
I won't be asking you to make any
No,
animal
please.
sounds. Please.
Not that good. But what I can say, if I have like an online shopping package that's being delivered at my house, or if asking people to work in my house. I always pretend there's a man in the house, so I'll be like, please don't make noise. My husband or my boyfriend is snapping, or I'll be like, he's on his way, because I don't want them to know that I stay alone.
So if you ever deliver a package for Siamtanda Matisa, now you know. What else you got?
Lots of reaction marks towards Operation Dudula and how they've been treating illegal foreigners at public hospital, kicking them out, asking for documentation. Listen, many 702 landers have expressed the willingness to help those in need, regardless of their immigration status. But there's a growing call for the government to do something, or else this might escalate to what happened in 2015, where we have xenophobic attacks if they don't do anything.
And that's the point. I'm not having this conversation as something new. We know what Operation Dudula have been doing. Right. We know why they say they are doing it. We've considered the issue of migration and the impact on the healthcare system before.
Yeah.
I'm asking, why is it that it appears no one in authority is really doing anything to stop it? If you or I were to go to clinics and start pulling people from maternity wards, somebody in blue with a white van, right, with blue stripes, would show up.
Yeah.
And they'd make sure we go away.
And I mean, the listeners have pointed out the contrast to stricter systems in other countries that we don't have. We become more lenient when it comes to our healthcare system, which is not doing well as well.
So doesn't that then point to the convenience of Operation Dudula? For those that are in charge of systems that are failing, it's very convenient for Dudula to direct their anger at the foreigners and not the systems that are failing all of us. And how soon before this thing explodes?
This is EWN.
There's a call for Joburg parents accused of abusing their child to remain behind bars, and MPs want clarity about how much will be spent for the national dialogue. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. A couple charged with the murder, rape and abuse of their 4-year-old child is expected to appear in the Protea Magistrates Court today for their second bail hearing. Eldorado Park residents found the little girl on Wednesday beaten and bleeding. The Gauteng Legislature's Portfolio Committee on Community Safety is calling for bail to be opposed for the parents. Jabulile Mbata reports.
The little girl was still alive on Wednesday when police made the gruesome discovery following an anonymous tip-off. She was admitted to the intensive care unit at Baragwanath Hospital. On Friday, when her father was appearing in court for charges of her rape, attempted murder and child abuse, she succumbed to her injuries and he is charged murder. This is while police investigations revealed that the mother of the child knew of the abuse, resulting in her arrest. Chairperson of the committee, Bandile Masugu, condemns this act.
The Portfolio Committee on Community Safety stands on solidarity with the Eldorado community and the civil society organization in calling for the state to oppose bail for the accused and harsh sentence to be imposed if they are found guilty.
The mother of the 4-year-old is also facing a charge of defeating the ends of justice. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, in the Western Cape, advocacy group Women and Men Against Child Abuse says it hopes a former Cape Town teacher accused of sexually abusing young boys will be found guilty when his trial concludes. 86-year-old Ian Wares is facing multiple child sexual abuse charges in Cape Town and in the UK during his 40-year teaching career. He lost his court bid to have his case dismissed by the Wynberg Regional Court. He's also facing extradition to the UK, where he's accused of abusing young boys in Scotland in the 1960s and 70s. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
Magistrate Vanessa Miki rejected Ian West's lawyer's arguments that the state doesn't have enough evidence to prosecute his client. She also dismissed the suggestion that the state witnesses' testimonies were not credible, and she believes the state has ample evidence to continue with the case from October 14. Wamaka founder Miranda Jordan also believes that Wes definitely has a case to answer.
We look forward to hearing the closing arguments on the 14th of October and also look forward to a conviction.
Last year, the Western Cape High Court and Justice Minister Thembi Simelane approved Wes's extradition to Scotland to face charges of sexual abuse. Dutozelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
With the total cost of the national dialogue still unclear and a major point of contention, Parliament's Appropriations Committee plans to query the expenditure. Chairperson Malume says he's concerned about how the national dialogue will be funded and implemented. Over the weekend, the presidency said the full budget is yet to be determined and would depend on donations and other free services. Yesterday, the organising committee said this week's two-day national convention, which will precede the dialogue, will cost R8 million. Lindsay Dentlinker reports.
While the presidency has indicated it will be funding the first phases of the national dialogue along with NEDLAC, there's still no firm price tag for the undertaking. Initial estimated costs of more than R700 million have been criticised by some quarters, given the many competing demands on a constrained fiscus. Chairperson of Parliament's Appropriations Committee, Malume, says while the national dialogue is a critical initiative towards reimagining South Africa's future, he's concerned about the lack of a funding strategy. He's now written to the National Treasury to provide clarity on the budget votes that will be funding the dialogue and whether any government programs will be affected by the diversion of funds. Malume says Treasury must provide a comprehensive list of the programs that will be affected by funding the national dialogue. He adds it's concerning that respected civil society voices are stepping away from the process. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And US President Donald Trump has ordered a delay to reimpose higher tariffs on Chinese goods. Trump made the announcement hours before a trade truce between Washington and Beijing was due to expire. The White House's halt on steeper tariffs will now be in place until early November this year. While the US and China slept escalating tariffs on each other's products this year, both countries agreed to temporarily lower them in May. As part of that truce, fresh US tariffs targeting China were reduced to 30%, and the corresponding level from China was cut to 10%. US President Donald Trump spoke to reporters yesterday before the deadline.
We've been dealing very nicely with China, as you probably have heard. They have tremendous tariffs that they're paying to the United States of America. And we'll see what happens. They've been dealing quite nicely. The relationship is very good with President Xi and myself.
Gold is trading at $3,353.27 an ounce. The rand is at 17.74 to the dollar, 23.82 to the pound, 20.61 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $66.95 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we still have got heavy traffic volumes on the N12 as well as the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Kirulis interchange. While traveling in Eldorado Park, do be on the lookout for some delays along the Golden Highway due to the long-term roadworks taking place between Union Avenue and the N1.
And in your sport, the Proteas looking for improved performances when they meet Australia in the second of three T20s at 11:15 this morning. Match day 2 of the Betway Premiership kicks off this evening. And no Cheslin Colby for the Springboks, while Rassie Erasmus puts his faith in Libbok's boots for the Aussie Test.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 21 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: a couple charged with the murder, rape and abuse of their 4-year-old child is expected to appear in the Protea Magistrates Court today for their second bail hearing.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Eight minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Breakfast. If you've just joined us, it is Tuesday, the 12th of August, the year of our Lord. At 8 minutes after 8 o'clock on the 8th month of 2025. I'm trying for us to have a nuanced conversation about this migration issue. We know there are undocumented migrants in South Africa. But what does that actually mean? When many of these people who are in that asylum seeking process don't have their documents processed on time. When the officials that are meant to do so are not given resources and capacity to process those documents on time. Because it's easy to say, oh, it's just the lazy officials at Home Affairs. It may not be. You need resources to go and check out the stories that these people are telling you. We can't just at face value accept that Amu has fled the DRC because of the conflict in the eastern part of that country. We can't just at face value accept that Muteo, and this is not true, but Muteo is here escaping LGBTQI prosecution from Uganda. We can't. Those things have to be checked out. But in the interim, he's got access to this healthcare system, and you as a South African are expected to pay for it if you work, and he's not.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
10 after 8, I take you back to the case of one Babita Diokoran and the corruption she was uncovering at Tembisa Hospital. She lost the battle and she paid with her life. How many of the people within that system, from the CEOs to the heads of department to the department itself in the province, how many of them lost their jobs? How many of them were caught? The people who were signing off on leather chairs for the hospital and skinny jeans, how many of them got caught? It was in the billions. Now, I'm not saying that had everything been well in terms of the system, the foreign or migrant issue wouldn't be a problem. But do you understand why it is that if Operation Dudula is angry at the foreigners for the people who are responsible for the failures of the system, it's just way, way convenient.
You're with Bongani Bingwa on 702.
Taking your calls on 011-883-0702.
Leonard, you're in Pretoria West. Good morning. What do you want to say?
Good morning, Bongani. I just want to comment on this Dudula issue, refusing illegal migrants from residing medical help. The thing is, they are not only doing it to illegal, they are doing it even to legal migrants. People who have IDs, when you go there, you don't speak the language, they chase you. But my fear is, those very police people who allow Dudula to treat these people or to chase these people, those very nurses who allow these people not to be treated and say, go home, Baba Hambe. These very people, somebody may go to hospital with TB and you chase the person to go out. And you, the nurse, you might meet that very person with TB in a spa who coughs and infects people. My fear is the diseases that the nurses are refusing to treat or Dudula is obstructing people from getting might spread in the community. TB can be spread even in the spa. HIV can be spread in the community because you refuse to give them treatment. So is Dudula thinking of the time bomb that is going to happen, or the government? Are they thinking of that? The police people and the nurses. So it's just my fear that these diseases that are refused from being treated might go back in the community and spread like wildfire, and it will be a bomb, a big bomb. So let's think about it.
Leonard, I think very good points there you are making. That's exactly what Professor Landau was saying, that our medical system, our healthcare system is premised on the idea of not spreading disease, because some of these illnesses, particularly those that are communicable diseases, don't discriminate. HIV doesn't say, I will only infect the foreigners. Certainly we know COVID didn't say, I will only infect the foreigners. So when you are kicking people that you know are in the country and are not leaving, and you're kicking them out of these facilities, and they don't get the treatments they ought to be on, what are they going to spread to the rest of the community? I think those are fair points, Leonard.
Good morning, Bongani. Record keeping can be a bit of a challenge. Why? Because if you don't have documentation, you can easily come to this clinic and go to the next one tomorrow. Like you can use 5 different clinics in a week, collect medication, which is what they are allegedly doing. So how do you keep record of such? And if the professor says clinics should be well stocked, how do you stock for a number of people if you don't even know the number of people that you are providing for? This is Lerato from Pretoria.
Morning, Bongani and team. Anonymous here. South Africa has an opportunity for developing a robust medical tourism system. This fact that a lot of foreigners, we come here for medical treatment, means that, instead of giving it for free in public hospitals, why don't you charge a certain amount of money? It obviously won't be the same as a private hospital, but charge foreigners a certain amount of money. If you're a foreigner, you want to come to be treated in South Africa, it's not going to be free like locals. Locals can still get their free treatment, but if you charge us foreigners a certain amount of money, then we are contributing to the fiscus of the health department, and then maybe that's an opportunity to also expand capacity of the health department.
Except typically, a lot of the people that can afford or would afford the kind of healthcare scenario you are describing, perhaps ordinarily do that in their home countries to begin with, right? And for Lerato, who says, because you don't know, you can't tell if the same patient, in inverted commas, is going through all these facilities collecting medications they will then go and sell for profit back home. That does speak to the failure of the whole thing. How these people get in, what they leave here with, and how they do so. And the fact that there is no real tracking of the data of who they are, when they were serviced, where they were serviced, why they were serviced. That's part of the failure that I don't think Operation Dudula has considered, because it's nuanced, isn't it?
So, hey B, there's one very disturbing argument people make when they discuss this thing, and I speak as someone who works in health. Everyone speaks about this idea of having to pay medical insurance when they go to foreign countries, but what they're not understanding is they're going as tourists. So if someone comes in South Africa as a tourist, by all means, they will have the same expectations. They will not be covered by state. The conversations are people who are coming here as immigrants trying to move here for citizenship, different conversation, and especially asylum seekers, different conversation. So if any one of them want to go to a different country and tell us whether the same standard applies when they go as asylum seekers, then we can have an argument about apples and apples and apples and oranges.
Fair. All fair. Right? Because when you go to those foreign countries, you're not going there seeking asylum, being a refugee. You're there as a tourist, or you're there for business reasons, and therefore that's why the example I used earlier about filling out visa application forms doesn't necessarily apply in this conversation. But again, what does it point out to? You don't just walk in to Italy or France. I mean, there are a lot of people who try, obviously, through the boats and all of that. But in general, those countries aren't overwhelmed with people that are coming in that they can't stop, right? They do have a migrant problem, don't get me wrong. But it's not quite the same scenario we are facing here in South Africa. Let's speak to Mo on the East Rand. Mo?
Hi, Bongani and the listeners. Yeah, thank you. Look, we have a problem here. Always, whenever this issue comes up, statistics are put on the table. How do you get statistics of people who come into the country illegally without going through the border posts? You can't keep a number on those people, number one. Number two, already they are criminal. They've committed a criminal act entering the country illegally. Why is
Mo, can I just stop you there? Can I just stop you there? This is what I meant earlier about the nuances of this conversation. I mean, obviously there are people who are trying to come in here and don't want to be caught and want to be under the radar. But many of these people who don't have documents haven't necessarily entered the country illegally. If you're a refugee, the very definition of that, or an asylum seeker, the very definition of that means you left your country of origin, you don't have papers, you don't have documentation. But if our system to process you takes an inordinately long amount of time, you are going to be stuck in this state of limbo where someone like Mo will say you are here illegally. But it doesn't mean you've committed a crime.
But if this individual did not enter the country through a port of entry, how do you then call him an asylum seeker?
That's the point I'm making, Mo, is that many of them do enter the country through those ports of entry, but that doesn't mean they have documents. The fact that you don't have documents doesn't mean you're illegal.
If they enter through a port of entry, as the professor has indicated, they will be given a receipt of some sort and be advised which asylum reception office to go to, right? Because they would have entered through a port of entry. But they do not get through a port of entry. We see this on a daily basis with the SANDF arresting all these people coming through.
I understand where you and I are missing each other, Mo. I'm saying when Operation Dudula goes to these facilities, they don't ask whether you're an asylum seeker. They don't ask for a receipt. They don't distinguish between the scenario you are describing, where a person is not in the system. The person has tried to come in under the radar. They don't distinguish between that person and the one who may legitimately be waiting for the outcome of some application or another. The fact that you're from another country, off you go, is what they say.
Okay, Bongani, why should South Africans be apologetic about expecting them to pay for health services, education services, like we are expected to do when we go outside the country? When we visit countries, we have to have medical insurance. If I go to Zambia, I must have my own money to pay for medical assistance.
Yes, but you go to Zambia. You go to Zambia as a tourist, or you go to Zambia for business. You're not going there to stay and access those services. Godfrey in Santon, you've got a view?
How are you, Bongani?
I'm very well. Go ahead, Godfrey. We don't have time.
I'm all right. Bongani, I think we need to have a centralized system that can be able to identify if one person is moving from one clinic to the next. It would be a system that can assist us. And then, in my view, if you are a foreigner who seeks medical help, you must be assisted with a certain fee. I mean, I felt sick when I was in Angola. I ate fries that had fish. Then I reacted to that. For me to have a file opened at the hospital, I had to pay $500. I was in Angola. It happened to me, and I paid because I was in a foreign country. So if we can manage that, then we'll be able to benefit something so that our infrastructure can have something that they can do with that money.
All right. Godfrey in Santon, pay for the services you get. Candice will give you the last word on this. Candice in Bryanston.
Hi, Bongani. Thanks for the show. Firstly, I think our government has let us down tremendously. We must stop blaming the foreigners or the Dudulas or the people. We've got to blame the government. They should have put a computer system in place that links all the hospitals so that when you log in as Candice shows up across the whole country. Why have they not done that? They have let us down terribly. Somebody who went to jail in the 70s for the ANC, biggest disappointment of my life.
Right, Candice, that's the last word on that one.
EWN Traffic.
21 after 8, the Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we still have got delays on the N12 as well as the R24 West. In fact, heavy traffic volumes between Edenville Road and the Kidulis interchange. The N3 North is also affected between Van Buren and the Kidulis turnoff. If you're traveling out of the Baku interchange towards Santon, do expect delays on the M1 South. This is towards Grayston Drive off-ramp. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a couple stealing glances at each other. In a week, their lives will change forever as they exchange their I-do's. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a love story on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Let me get this right, Ron. You're a plumber by day and Pretoria's smoothest wedding DJ by night.
Yeah, it started out as a passion and now I've got bookings until December. And a smoke machine that needs its own seatbelt.
And you sold your car to buy a van through We Buy Cars.
Brew, it was music to my ears. Zero admin, no long queues. They pulled in, checked it out, and before I knew it, I had cash in the bank.
Now that's a banger. We Buy Cars. Geared for your passion, geared for you.
Did you ever work in the UK? If you did for at least 3 years and you're under 67, you can get a guaranteed UK state pension worth up to 5 million rand over a typical retirement for just a small payment directly to UK revenue. Most people get 40 rand back for every rand they pay in. There's a big queue at UK revenue as this opportunity may end soon, so act fast. Call Extra Pension in Cape Town or see extrapension.com. Mind your UK pension and it'll mind you. Service fees apply.
Feel the exhilarating power and performance. Feel the anticipation of a new adventure around every corner. Feel the breathtaking wonder of Mzansi's epic scenery. Feel the luxe vibes and the good times. Feel it all and more with the Ultimate Shelf V-Power VIP experience. Spend 750 rands 3 times this month and tap your V Plus rewards card for a chance to win one of 5 epic road trip and track experiences for 2. T's and C's apply.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Oh, I love this. I like this. Live and local, baby. Businesses with heart at the center of communities. We're looking for Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko. So you've nominated your favorite local businesses, and it's time to announce the finalists. And in this category for car wash, in the category car wash, we have AA2 Lifestyle Car Wash, In and Out Car Wash in Pretoria, Eco Wash in Midrand, and Corner Car Wash. Now everyone knows and loves them, that little blue card machine company Yoko. They've been powering over 200,000 businesses across Mzansi for almost a decade. They want to grow. Introducing Yoko Counter. It's the smartest till you'll ever own. No more stacks of slips at the end of the day. Real-time recons, management of stock and staff, all from one sleek device. Go to yoko.com to order your Yoko Counter today. Businesses you believed in? Here are your finalists. Vote for them on primemediaplus.com. Your chance to help crown the best of the best. Throughout the day, we'll tell you more names in the running for Gauteng's Greatest with 702, powered by Yoko.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Catch up with stories from the rest of the world. Adam, it is really an awful, awful story. Journalists generally not allowed in Gaza, and the few that did get in were killed, and there's outrage all around the world.
You could imagine, the UN Human Rights Office is talking about a grave breach of international humanitarian law. Not quite sure how many times we've used that phrase or something close to it about Israeli actions in Gaza, but here we are with another one. This is, as you say, truly awful because a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, Anas al-Sharif, was amongst a group of colleagues that met up, and at that point they were specifically targeted by Israeli Defense Forces, by a drone strike, essentially. Israel says he was a Hamas operative. And it's true, at one stage he did work for the sort of media arm, the PR arm of Hamas. But let's not forget, Hamas is also an elected body as well as whatever else it does. But precious little evidence of him being a, quote, operative. No explanation as to why 6 journalists in all were killed in this strike, including 4 of his colleagues from Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera has absolutely denied any way that he was an insurgent operative in any way. It was a specific targeted attack. And again, the UN has called for unhindered access to Gaza for all journalists. But, hats off to any courageous souls who would do it at the moment. I mean, in the current climate, it's real frontline stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We call ourselves journalists and then you find out, right? Let's talk now about somewhere else entirely different. An incident in the South China Sea, Adam.
Yeah, there's a video of this as well, showing, which is taken from a Filipino boat, a Filipino Coast Guard boat, essentially, of how close these other boats got to them. And it is astonishing. Think of a near miss between 2 boats and then multiply that and at speed. So here we have a Chinese warship plowing into its own Coast Guard patrol boat, which in turn was chasing a Philippine Coast Guard boat in the South China Sea. The Philippine boat was apparently distributing aid to fishermen. Along came the 2 Chinese vessels. The result, apparently dented hulls on both. Actually, the Philippines says that there was substantial damage, particularly to the Coast Guard patrol boat, because the Chinese warship, after all, is ironclad, or better than that. China has confirmed a confrontation took place, but has denied there was a collision, has accused the Philippines of forcibly intruding. Beijing didn't mention the collision. But what we have here is tensions between 2 countries, China and the Philippines. And we often talk about China and Taiwan, but here we are with another country. Both sides accusing each other of provocative action. Previously, sailors have attacked each other with swords and knives. I can't think this is going to help.
And Adam, why does Trump want to take over DC?
Now, there's the question. If we didn't know it was Donald Trump, we'd look at the evidence and go, why on earth is he doing this? What is he up to? Is it to deflect attention? Is it because somebody who was an employee formerly in the Department of Government Efficiency was attacked, and therefore he's taken a sort of knee-jerk reaction to, as it were, a colleague being assaulted on the streets of Washington? But to send in 200 National Guard troops with 6 more on standby, he's using an act that was originally put in by Richard Nixon. Now, there's a name that you don't necessarily want to draw attention to. He is citing violent crime and homelessness when the police department of Washington reports that the murder rate came down 32% 2 years ago, 12% 1 year ago, in the Biden administration, by the way, and that homelessness is actually down 20% over the last 5 years. It's not like it's the end of the problem. He says that they will be forcibly moved on. Well, where do you forcibly send the homeless? He then talks about getting rid of the slums. Well, that's where a lot of people would live. So you'd add to the homeless problem, wouldn't you, Mr. President? It is an astonishing, attention-grabbing thing to have done, and you wonder why.
Yeah, because here we are not talking about the Epstein files, are we?
There we go. We're not at all talking about that. Oh, we just did.
That's this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
Process. The NASPAD subsidiary, Mateo, getting approval to do business in the EU. Is it time to buy shares?
Well, you're late if you're hearing this announcement. A technology investor Process has gained European Union competition approval for its $4.7 billion bid for delivery company Just Eat Takeaway. In order to appease authorities, the company has agreed to sell down its stake in another EU delivery firm, Delivery Hero. Now, Process, which is a majority owned by South Africa's NASPAD, announced the deal in February, banking on its artificial intelligence capability to boost Europe's biggest meal delivery company, Just Eat Takeaway. The EU Commission says NASPAD offered to significantly reduce its 27% stake in German-founded firm Delivery Hero to below a specified percentage within a year. NASPAD also pledged not to exercise its voting rights with its remaining limited stake in Delivery Hero, and also not to increase its stake beyond the specified maximum level. But as it stands, a Process clinching that deal.
They look so good because they eat so good. Do you remember that ad, Mateo? Or was it before your time?
Probably before my time.
Higher sales for Rainbow Chickens.
Yeah, Rainbow Chicken says its turnaround plan is hatching better results for the company. The broiler producer says higher sales, lower backup power, and feed costs have led to a better operational performance. The chicken producer, which owns brands like Farmer Brown and Simply Chicken, says it expects an increase in revenue. Rainbow Chicken's headline earnings per share, a profit measure in South Africa, are projected to range between 214 and 234%.
So anybody from the 80s will tell you there was a TV ad with Farmer Brown who was selling rainbow chickens, who would tell you they look so good because they eat so good.
Should have bought shares then. Bro.
Now, how's the rand looking?
17 Rand 74 against the US dollar, 20 Rand 59 cents against the euro, and 23 Rand 84 cents against the British pound. Price of gold also in the green this morning at $3,350 an ounce, or platinum is also higher at $1,331. Brent crude at $66.91 a barrel. Stephen Krotis with more this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go. Swisa Zulu, what you got?
DA leader John Steenhuisen says the ANC is yet to consult coalition partners about its intention to expand the government of national unity. Last week, the ANC announced plans to broaden the coalition, saying there's growing interest from some opposition parties to join the unity government. While Steenhuisen is opposed to this decision, he also says that coalition partners deserve to know if there are plans to include other parties. Alfara Mushwana reports.
DA leader John Steenhuisen says if the ANC believes expanding the government of national unity will resolve its current internal issues, it needs to think again.
And I think that there should be rather more energy and focus spent on improving the relations amongst parties within the GNU.
He adds that if the ANC intends to broaden the government of national unity, the very least it should do is to consult coalition partners.
We entered into something called the Statement of Intent. It was signed by all parties. The statement of intent makes it abundantly clear that if new parties are to be added to the Government of National Unity, that this has to be done in consultation with the parties that are currently in the GNU.
The ANC says parties that supported the national budget are seemingly interested in joining the Government of National Unity. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
The National Union of Mine Workers has denied reports that it has dumped the ANC ahead of next year's crucial municipal elections. This comes as the tripartite alliance faces growing tensions and further tests on its unity after the SACP reiterated plans to contest the elections, putting it at odds with the ANC. Nokayam Dambo reports.
The National Union of Mine Workers, an affiliate of COSATU, has historically backed the ANC and lobbied for votes for the party at elections. The decision by the SACP to go at the local government elections means COSATU affiliates will have to make a tough call on whether to back the ANC or the SACP at the polls. In a statement last night, the NUM's newly elected president, Philip Vilakazi, distanced the union from claims it had taken a side. A month ago, at the NUM's National Elective Conference, the union downplayed similar claims. Although critical of the ANC's decision to form the Government of National Unity with opposition parties, union members had not taken a resolution on its endorsement in the tripartite alliance. While the resolution is tipped to be up for discussion at a special congress, NUM says it won't take a decision at the expense of unity in the tripartite alliance. COSATU and its other key affiliates are also yet to take a decision on the matter. Nogukanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
And 2 workers have died and 10 have been wounded in explosions at a steel plant in the United States. The incident happened in the state of Pennsylvania. Some U.S. media outlets had reported that people were trapped under the rubble of the explosion. Videos on social media appear to show firefighters battling the blaze in front of a gutted industrial building under a thick plume of white smoke. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 21 and 22 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got a protest reported in the Germiston CBD. As a result, several roads are heavily backed up. Routes like Refinery Road, Queen Street, President Street, as well as Lambert Street. Please be on the lookout there and try to avoid the area while traveling on the N12 as well as the R24 West. Traffic remains very slow between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange.
The top story this hour, John Steenhuisen says the ANC is yet to consult coalition partners about its intention to expand the Government of National Unity.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
The Communications Workstream love a good government lexicon, briefing the media on the state of readiness to host the first national convention. Mandy, this whole issue around the national dialogue is a total waste of time and money. We all know what is wrong in our country. Dear Mandy, how can I join the national dialogue? I too would love a free flight to Pretoria, a lekker jol, an all expenses paid hotel. I'll take my Johnny Walker with 2 ice cubes.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
As a business owner, would you rather deal with stacks of slips at the end of each day or have recons done instantly? Introducing Yoko Counter, the new all-in-one payments and points of sale system that removes the guesswork, the paperwork, and the time drain. Taking your business from chaos to control, guesswork to clarity, giving you back time to focus on what truly matters. Visit yoko.com today to find out more about the simple yet powerful out-of-the-box solution with free built-in points of sale software.
Do you know what's hiding behind the colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front-of-package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front-of-package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by the 30th of September.
Young professionals aren't just changing jobs, they're walking away from the system itself. So this Thursday on 702, with me, Bongani Bingwa, we'll bring you a discussion inspired by Old Mutual Thought Leaders Forum, exploring the growing loyalty gap in the workplace. We'll find out what's fueling resignations, why traditional retirement benefits alone no longer buy commitment, and how employers can evolve to meet the needs of a generation that's demanding more. Don't miss this important conversation this Thursday, the 14th of August, brought to you by Old Mutual Corporate on 702.
You're with Bongani Bingwa on 702.
Taking your calls on 011-883-0702.
All right, I always say you are our eyes and ears wherever you are around 702 land. I've got some disturbing pictures purportedly of the Department of Home Affairs in Ekurhuleni. I believe this is in the Germiston CBD. Reports are suggesting that office, that building may be on fire. Francois, you were there?
Yes.
What did you see? What's going on?
We wanted to go do some work there. We just find at 20 past 8 this whole building is on fire. And I don't think it's really a bad situation.
You don't think it's a bad situation?
No, it's a bad situation. Because the fire brigade is trying their best, but I don't think there will be something left. The whole building is even falling apart.
Yeah, I've got early pictures that somebody forwarded to us, and in the early stages of the fire, but you can see that this is not something that can be easily contained. Do we have any idea what started it?
I don't have just some information. There's some people that the flats, there's some buildings behind Home Affairs, they are on striking. And apparently, I think they have started that thing because they are fighting with this. They don't want to rent and things that's happening there.
So there's a protest nearby,
So,
and this is the building
at
that's
the back,
been targeted.
Yes.
Is this on President Street, yeah?
Yes.
So obviously you didn't get your ID, hey?
No, we couldn't. No, you can't get even nothing there. That thing will be a wreck when it's finished. The whole roof is even collapsing and came down when I left.
My goodness me. I suspect, Francois, you might have to wait a while to get your ID if that's the scenario. Thank you for alerting us to that. I always say you are our eyes and ears all around 702 land. So we understand there's a protest action taking place in the Germiston CBD. The streets are affected, are President Street, Queen Street and Jack Street. Is that what you are seeing on your map, Amoramila?
Absolutely, Bongani. And I'm seeing also a bit of a road closure, obviously because they've barricaded the road with rocks and burning tire. And that is on Jack Street, which is between Queen and President.
All right, we'll forward all of that information to our colleagues at EWN. The protest, we understand, is due to some evictions in a nearby block of flats where people have been either evicted or want to occupy those flats without paying rent, we understand. There are some SAPS officers and EMPD officers on the scene, but the pictures I am getting is that this is completely gutted. We are trying to get a hold of Home Affairs to try and get an explanation as to what on earth is going on there. But again, it paints the picture I was raising earlier on. How soon, if one group of people who are allowed to take the law into their own hands, how soon do we start seeing this kind of thing popping up elsewhere where they think, hang on, Dudula was allowed to get away with it. We don't want to pay rent or whatever the situation is here in Germiston, so let's burn some offices down to the ground, shall we?
EWN Sport.
All right, Anthony Teixeira, let's get straight into cricket. The Proteas no doubt are going to have a point to prove against the Aussies. It's the second T20, yeah?
It is the second T20 of threes, as the Proteas will be hoping they can flex their muscles and bounce back from that weekend loss to Australia. Sunday, they suffered a minor batting collapse in that run chase, with Mapaka still backing the team's aggressive batting style.
I think it's really just about reading the game. Obviously, when a team is coming out all guns blazing, there's a few more opportunities to take wickets. It's just about being smart and understanding what you have to do when you're faced in those situations. It depends on the wickets and the batters that you're playing against. Sometimes you go to a Yorker, a bumper, a slower ball. It's all about reading the game and understanding what you need to do in that moment.
Play begins at 11:15, while in the afternoon the West Indies and Pakistan will meet in the final ODI of their series with an all-square with a win each. In football, the Betway Premiership action will continue this evening. Salam Awardu will be looking for a first league victory with Orlando Pirates as he goes to his former club, Marimo Gallants.
It's not only important for me, but it's important for our team, for our club, to go definitely there and to get a result. Because when you lose the first game at home, definitely you need to get point away and to still keep in the race.
Meanwhile, Mamelodi Sundowns will play their first game at Loftus when they welcome Amazulu, and Siwelele faces Orbit College. All games kicking off at 7:30. The first leg of the MTN 8 semi-final between defending champs the Buccaneers and the Brazilians is officially sold out. The Orlando Stadium will be hosting the blockbuster clash Saturday afternoon. And in rugby, the Springboks have backed Mani Lubbock for the Rugby Championship opener. He's the only out-and-out fly-half named in the matchday 23, with the traditional 5-3 bench seeing part-time kicker and full-time fullback Damian Willemse as the only potential cover. The rest of the squad is made up of experience with only Jan Hendrik Wessels, Asanati and Tlabakane, and wing Edwin van der Merwe having 5 or fewer caps. One big name missing from the team sheet, though, is Cheslin Colby, who has returned back to fitness from a knee injury and is being rested just to be safe, according to Rassie Rasmus.
No, Cheslin will be ready next week. He had a knee, and we did scans and stuff, and we first thought it was, initially we thought it was a little bit more serious, but we went for scans and to the specialist, and he's actually cleared to play this weekend. But just to be safe for a player that's really one of our bankers, we want to make sure that he's 100% there, because when he's 100% he's lethal.
The full-time world champs will collide with the Wallabies 5:10 Saturday afternoon at Ellis Park. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
8:45 on the nose. Let's catch up with traffic, no doubt. Amot, let's start in that Germiston area. What's the latest coming out of there?
Well, we still have got that road closure along Jack Street between President and Queen Street. Queen Street and President in itself are heavily backed up. This is due to the scene around the Home Affairs in the Germiston area. So please be on the lookout. Try to avoid and find alternative routes this morning. If you are traveling along the N12 as well as the R24 West, delays from Edenville Road to the Kilulis interchange. There's also queuing traffic on the M2 West between Heidelberg Road and the Crown turn off while traveling towards Midrand. Delays on the N1 South between Simon Avenue and Olifantsfontein Road. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It's the clarion call for the 26th Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Choose your days carefully because this time we're all out as the heavy jazz at Lincoln Center with Winton Marsalis makes a triumphant return to the Sandton Convention Center on the 26th and 28th of September, alongside the already star-studded lineup of over 60 world-class acts across 4 stages. On second thoughts, we recommend you buy all 3 days, via Ticketmaster. Take me there!
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for general practitioners, dentists, surgeons, and other medical specialists. Kuveni.
It's so nice to know the business risk is taken care of by Business Outsurance. The call center is just a dream to deal with. Very seamless, easy experience, and it just feels like the people we're talking to on the other line understand our needs.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Looking for real ways to live greener? Then don't miss Green Tip of the Week, your weekly dose of sustainable inspiration. From eco-entrepreneurs to climate champions, we sit down with the people making real change. Catch Green Tip of the Week every Tuesday on Afternoon Drive with John Perlman from 3 to 6 p.m. only on 702. It's proudly brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
8:50. Tsidi Madia joins us because, of course, Clement Manyatela is still out on birthday vacay leave. Tsidi Madia, we've been speaking all morning about what I've been watching grow, Operation Dudula and similar groupings, and what they've been doing at public healthcare facilities. Now, perhaps that's an old conversation in a sense because it's been with us for some time. But the thing I've been raising is this idea of if there's a group of people that are allowed, because it's convenient at the moment, right, to take the law into their own hands. Because if you and I started pulling people out of public hospitals and demanding to see IDs, right, we'd find out, right? We'd find out in a New York minute. But it's been convenient for those who are looking to paper over their failures that Dudula does the dirty work, because the public anger is not directed at government officials. It's directed at these foreign nationals. And even if you agree with Dudula, right now we've got the Germiston Home Affairs Department completely gutted from the pictures they've been sending us, right? Completely gutted. Because there's a protest in a nearby block of flats around rental payments and people being evicted. See what I'm saying? Because if Dudula gets away with it, if they did it, why can't we did it?
Do you remember Nhlanhla Lux?
Yep.
And how he came into power,
Yep.
and how he became popular? Because government was not doing anything during the riots in 2021. Nhlanhla Lux and a group of people went to protect malls in Soweto. And government pretty much endorsed him. He was on the campaign trail with the ANC. That should tell you everything that's happening. I think because these people are taking things into their own hands, addressing government failures, government does turn a blind eye. But I always say to people that the issue is not the migrants, it's not the porous borders, it's a failing government system that we're dealing with. That's where you need to point the fingers. You need to look back at those who are serving us and are failing to do so, because that's where the problem lies.
And even if you want to say the migrants are the face of the problem, I mean, how does the health minister say we don't have data? Is that because we don't want to have data? Because then the real numbers would tell the real story. Because most of this is anecdotal and perception.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So what people see, is it backed up by raw data? But we don't want people to really know what's going on, do we? Because either if the system is overwhelmed, as people suggest it is, then there's a problem. If it's underwhelmed, there's still a problem.
Yes. Funny enough, speaking of the health minister, Bongani, I don't know if you realize that part of what Dudula is doing, I'm going to be speaking to Dudula on Clement's show, take part of the conversation that you've had forward. But part of what Dudula will tell you is that in the health minister, they've got a sympathetic minister who understands what their pleas are, because they'll speak about what he used to say in his previous time as health minister, during his tenure as home affairs minister. He had complained about the movement of people in and out of the country. So Dudula does think it's got a sympathetic ear. They've met with him. So we'll speak to that a little bit later on. That's going to be part of the show between 10 and 11. We'll also look at the issue around the DA and its path towards economic growth. I heard you speaking about it a little bit earlier on, their views about triple BEE. That'll be part of the conversation today. And between 11 and 12, it's two Tuesday features, World of Work as well as Health feature. In the World of Work, we'll look at managing misconduct in the workplace. And in the Health feature, we'll look at osteoporosis, specifically in women.
What's happening in the open line?
The open line, I want to speak about, I don't know if you saw it, but Adrian Basson has written a very interesting opinion piece about the succession debate in the DA. Very often people talk about succession in the ANC.
Yeah.
But DA is also getting I think that Congress is going to be quite contested next year. So it's a conversation about that, what kind of DA leadership needs to arise, because he believes that the DA is rising and could soon find itself as the leader of the coalition governments. So
will John Vuller the gate? Do you
that's
think?
the question I need people to tell me. South Africa
Will he
loves
the
a cult
moon?
of personalities. Can
Dubuli
John
Nyanga.
rise? Does he have the master, the flair, the fire to captivate people? What kind of leadership do they need to think about as the opposition? And even the idea that the DA could become the potential
Senior partner.
Do people believe the senior partner in a coalition? Do people believe in that? Juxtapose that very quickly with what I filed yesterday. I wrote for News yesterday that Anthony Lungisa was a lone voice at the ANC and NEC saying, comrades, we have failed. We have not done our job as an NEC. The ANC is at 40%. We've not done anything on paper to turn that around. We're not going to help the situation. We actually must be disbanded and allow for Mbeki to convene and start afresh.
Oh, it's going to be a fiery Clement Manyatela show with Tidi Madia at the helm between 9 and 12.
Oh, Shane, do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers two options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual action, soothing relief. But For a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple action pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
The Momentum She Owns Her Success workshop is back for season 7. And this year it's all about how women have the algorithm. Join them as they unpack the invisible codes that power her financial success on the 16th of August. Get the formula for your career, your money, and your life from inspirational women that make it all happen. Register now for the She Owns Her Success workshops at momentum.co.za. Momentum is part of the Momentum Group Limited, an authorized and registered credit provider.
To live wealthier, you need to be able to grow your assets. At Standard Bank Private, you get a team of internationally acclaimed financial experts to advise you on local and global investment strategies. Plus, being with a leader in home loans, you can start expanding your property portfolio. So, come live wealthier with Africa's best private bank. Apply online at standardbank.co.za. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Local entrepreneurs don't just deserve your business, they deserve your applause. Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Businesses with heart, thriving, supporting communities. It's the Gauteng Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko. We asked you to nominate your favorite local businesses, and now it's time to reveal the finalists. In the category, the greatest biking shops, Bike Garage Midrand, Cycle Mania, and Soweto Cycle Hub. See, for over 200,000 South African businesses, Yoko has been there, backing the brave, simplifying payments with their legendary little blue card machine. They've built a legacy of making businesses run smarter. Now meet the next generation of smart. Yoko Counter, it's the smartest tool you'll ever own. An all-in-one hub for seamless payments, automatic recons, effortless stock control, and staff management. Go to yoko.com to level up. These are the businesses you believed in. These are your finalists. Voting has opened at 6 a.m. Go to primemediaplus.com. Your chance to crown the best of the best. Keep listening to 702 for more names running for Gauteng's Greatest with 702, powered by Yoko.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
Oh man, doesn't that just take you to church? Get it, King. Johannesburg, get ready for something truly special coming your way. Malume Herbie Tsoaeli is back on stage with his quintet for African Time Revisited at the Untitled Basement. And he joins us now on the line, the award-winning composer, arranger, and bassist. It's so fantastic. Welcome back, and it's just great to know you're going to be on stage again. Tell me about African Time Revisited, back on stage.
Wow. Thank you so much for inviting me, Bongani. Yes. We're still traveling on these bumping roads, in our lives, our roads are bumping, And African Time will be at Untitled, but unfortunately the tickets it's just sold out.
As it should be. As it should be. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
Yes. Yes. No. We're busy with African Time, still traveling because this is music from our forebears.
Maybe we'll get another date, by popular demand.
Yes, hopefully so.
You always talk about jazz moya, the spirit of jazz. What is jazz moya?
Well, jazz moya is it's a spirit that we inherited from our forebears. Because I believe that any African human being has got his own spirit or her spirits, because we are cultured people. We know of traditions, principles, values, that were taught before by those who came before us.
What makes Untitled Basement such a great venue? Is it the intimate space? Is it the fact that you can then communicate what you are saying about those who have gone before and what they are communicating to us at this time, both in terms of memory, but also in terms of legacy?
Yes. It's very important to have spaces like Untitled Basement because people can sit there and listen, and you are always able to convey your message through music and your message through poetry, message through anything that has pertains to music and life in general, and it's a space it's a creative space for teaching and let people hear what you're about to say, because
Oh man, listen, I'm so pleased that your show is already sold out. It's happening at Untitled Basement. If you've got tickets, consider yourself really lucky. It's opening at 7 o'clock. The show will start at 8 p.m. on time. And of course, it's the Herbie Tsoaeli Quintet, and they are going to be performing. And it is absolutely, absolutely wonderful to know that we appreciate this kind of music in South Africa. We honor these musicians, these legends. And it just warms my heart to find out the show is already sold out. Who knows? Maybe by popular demand, hey, they might throw in an extra one. You're going to be there on Sunday. You're going to have a fantastic time.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
It's exactly 9 o'clock. Stay listening to 702. EWN, no doubt, looking into the fire issue at the Germiston Home Affairs Department. Here's where you'll find out the latest. It's time for news.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. We begin on the East Rand, where a Home Affairs building in Germiston is